I played with your buttons.
Heart or your booty hole.
Well, if that you can take that responsibility on. I'm not really interested.
Right, let's see how I can walk back into this.
Welcome to the night zone. Hear the warriors speak. Life's the battlefield and we ain't feeling weak. From love to the game and the power we seek. Got a voice so strong, breaking every peak. Talk of love and battle scars, everything that's real. From touchdown to sermon, you know the deal. Strength in every word we begin to reveal. Truth in every tale as our lives we unveil. Talk of love and battle scars, everything that's real. From touchdown to sermon, you know the deal. Strength in every word we begin to reveal. Truth in every tale as our lives we unveil. Protect and provide, we're knights in the fray. Nothing off limits, we got something to say. Life and love, fitness and fight all day. Guys Night Podcast, let's ride the wave.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Guys Night Podcast. I am here with my buddies David and Evan. What's happening, guys?
I am doing great. I've been really super busy with photo editing and just a bunch of just photos and stuff. I've been put through the ringer multiple times this last week. I did too many photo shoots, so kind of like overbooked myself. But hell, I'm not gonna say no to money. So
hey, I can hear that, and we're gonna get into men's self-care tonight. But before we do that, how you doing, David?
I'm doing great. I've not been placed through any ringers ever.
And David, what is a ringer? Where did that phrase come from as we do this times two? By the way, guys, we've been gone for 3 weeks as life has hit us fast. We talked a little bit earlier as we reshot this first 10 minutes twice that it's finally warm in Ohio and there's a lot going on with spring. And David, the housing market obviously probably starting to take off a little bit. People want to start checking out houses now that it's warm outside. Evan, you've got some photo shoots. Shout out to Evan Snaps over here. Make sure you go to his Instagram channel if you're looking for someone here in Northeast Ohio to do your photos. He just did my wife's pregnancy photos and our baby shower photos. Can't wait to see what those look like. But tonight we're going to talk a little about men's health care, or men's care in general, self-care. And when we talk about that, I'm going through kind of a portion of my life where I was talking to the guys earlier. It's like every once in a while, I feel like as a man, you have to like prove yourself by kind of going through a mental breakdown and reset of yourself. Mm-hmm. Maybe you've developed some bad habits. Maybe you've started to let some good habits go. Whether it be diet, fitness, things that you do with your wife, your relationship starts to get into a kind of a funk. Maybe you're starting to do shit that, doesn't necessarily look good on you. So I'm in one of those points. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight, like what these guys do. And we have kind of 3 points of interest, right? And me being married, David being definitely not married and not trying to be married. And then we have Evan, who is... I don't know what he's doing.
Everywhere.
Fugazi?
I'm everywhere. Let's just say that. I've been put in very awkward scenarios in my life.
So we talked a little bit, got triggered recently, and that kind of went off on a little tangent. We can kind of repeat that a little bit, but just, when you're out there looking, pay attention to what people are posting before you get all angry, and before you just start posting stuff, I guess take a little bit of a look. We talked, obviously with the Strait of Hormuz going on right now and the blockade that just kicked off, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. People are starting to put stuff out there regarding, Trump's renewing the bill or the law that says that all men are required to serve in the military and put their name in the hat basically for a draft at age 18. Like we're going to actually do a draft, but this was something that was put in place in the 70s during Vietnam. And really it was just renewed because it was time for it to be renewed. And yes, I guess they did lift or raise the age to enlist up to 42. And that's probably just because of the fact that most of those 18-year-olds out there right now are more worried about like shitting in litter boxes and dyeing their hair rather than serving their country. So they're like, hey, we're going to need a couple of dudes from the Generation X to like get in here and fucking kick some ass and take some names. So shout out to Trump for realizing that most of those people are older than 33, which I think is the current enlistment requirement. So yeah, getting into that a little bit. And then we just started talking about the blockade. So let's kind of revisit that. You were talking last night when that everything kind of came out. Trump was at the MMA fights with Dana and them. ringside, just
Yeah.
getting blood splatter on his face during a kick to the face, and not really. But
Did you guys catch the fights at all last night?
I didn't watch any of the fights last
Oh.
night.
Same here. I just
Yeah.
did the recaps. I watched the recaps and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who was fighting last night. I don't think there was anybody that was fighting that was like on my list of people that I wanted to watch, and I should be.
The one big one I wanted to watch was Cub Swanson's dude out of he's out of like Palm Springs area. Trains with some guys I know, and last night was his last pro fight, and he won. So
That's pretty good way to go out.
great way to go out. Like super intense fighter, and I mean he's older, he's in his 40s, but it's kind of like, dude, I mean he's pulling a Seinfeld. Like he
Sure.
literally fucking dominated, and he's just mic drop and out. But
Well, it's interesting. I mean, talking about fights, obviously. And by the way, shout out to my boy Ed, who's not here. But if you guys have been watching Guys Sports Night, we just started a second channel. Make sure you go and like it. Guys Sports, KNIGHT. We just did a kind of talk a little bit about MMA and top 5 sexiest MMA fights. I don't know if you caught that episode. But,
Ronda Rousey.
But Ronda Rousey's coming back here in a couple of months, I guess, June, I think, against Gina Carano. So
I thought you meant here to Ohio. Like I have room for it at
No,
my house,
no,
but-
not coming here to Ohio. I don't think. It would be cool if they were, but that's going to be an interesting fight. And I think that it's interesting where, and this isn't obviously tonight to talk sports, but it's interesting where MMA is going to start battling some of these major networks who are like, screw pay-per-view. That's kind of out the window. Now they signed a big contract with Paramount.
Yeah.
But now you have Netflix who's like, hey, let's just get some of these dream fights together that people want to see, like the Tyson
It's Jake Paul.
Paul, or Mayweather versus McGregor back in the day, or let's see a couple of like women who were just giants in the mid 2000s. So it'll be interesting to see where that takes the MMA, because they're gonna have to start putting some headliners together that are gonna draw against that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously UFC has dominated the space. Like you've had these alternative fighting networks out there, but they've and everybody wants to fight there. So there's definitely room for competition in that space. So I think it's wise for the others to start playing in that arena. And also, I think, like, aside from your Buffalo Wild Wings and your places that will stream the fights, like, they still have to pay per view there, and it's big money. I think it's $5,000 for
Well, I was gonna
each
say,
fight.
I think at one point it was like I've seen $7,000 to $15,000 for certain fights for them to go, and I was like, holy shit! Like, you better hope that you
gotta
get the
sell a
people
lot of
in the
fucking
door.
wings.
Yeah, right. But the other aspect of that too is, you're not going to compete with the UFC if you have to sign yourself, 200 fighters across 5 weight classes and put on a fight card every week. You're not going to compete. But
right.
if you put on these exhibition fights where it's just like, back in the day, if you were like, I'd love to see Stone Cold Steve Austin fight against, I don't know,
Bruce Lee.
Yeah, right. Like, let's put him in a match. Like, let's do it. Like, that's basically what I think Netflix is kind of doing right now. And those are fun.
Yeah,
and
which, by
for
the
Netflix,
way,
they get a shit ton of views for them.
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah.
pay out. Netflix is buying everybody right now. Like, if you're somebody, you're getting offered to do something for Netflix right now.
Well, it's funny is that's actually how the UFC started was, well, shit, let's put sumo wrestlers up against karate, and let's put, judo up against jujitsu. Well, of course, it was the Gracies who had the idea of, we'll fight anybody. Let's get them all together and see what happens. Right. That's how it started. And then obviously it's evolved to where it's at today. But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. I think you're spot on where you say that, you have whether, so rewinding back for those who, don't watch the fights or anything, and if it's financial, well, the good news is if you have Paramount Plus, because, your wife is obsessed with Yellowstone or whatever, well, you now get all of the fights. It comes with your Paramount Plus, automatically.
Actually, even more so, if your wife's obsessed with ordering from Walmart and you're a Walmart Plus member, you also get Paramount Plus at no charge.
Look at that. Guys, we're helping you out here. But
Trying to help you save money.
yeah. So anyway, I was watching the fights last night, but my comment, rewinding it all the way back to why we're talking about the fights at the moment here, is I was kind of painting like that larger picture of what's going on with, we had JD and Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff were in Pakistan sitting. And I think there's a certain amount of theater there of like, I'm going to send this delegation over there to, have this discussion so that we can say that we went. We automatically know that, we want full inspections. We want, to know that they're never going to have nuclear weapons and all those things. And, they're over there saying, well, we want to have these things because we want to protect ourselves from you, like the other, nuclear powers are out there. So we knew that was going to be a stalemate. But
interesting, and real quick, in Trump's comments today, he's like, I know there's other countries out there that got nuclear power. Some of them shouldn't have it. And I was like, oh, fuck. He's talking about Pakistan and India.
Well, that's one of those, like, our ties with both of those are pretty solid. So I think that's one of those. But, the other side of that is that if you're the biggest and baddest motherfucker out there, yeah, you want all ships to rise with the sea, so long as they realize who the biggest ship is. Like, I want you to rise with me, but I'm still up here. You're we can go up 10 notches together, but you're still 10 notches below me, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the issue with nuclear power, and I don't mean to turn this into a political podcast tonight, but I think the issue with nuclear power is it's like, if a country who is owned by a regime like Iran, right, where they literally have a whole IRG police force that is really designed just to keep them in power and basically subdue the Iranian population. Like, they don't go in and fight wars against other countries. They go in and massacre people who are protesting against the regime or are starting a revolution against the regime or trying to run against the regime.
Yeah.
So as a country like that, like them to have nuclear power and owned by that regime, like there's no telling what they're willing to do with it, because they don't care about their people. They just care about being in power, right? So they can nuke half their country and give two shits just to eliminate like 100 U.S. troops that happen to have touched ground there. Or they can do it to their neighbors or just because, like, they don't, it doesn't, there's nothing for them out of it. They're not going to become a world power. They're not going to suddenly be able to nuke the United States or anything of that nature, but just enough for them to kind of scare the people around them, or in the case of the Strait, where they can control the oil flow so they can continue to do stuff off sanctions through black market oil sales. Right. So I think that's really what it comes down to. I mean, otherwise, you have these other countries that have nuclear power. It's like, it's not like Pakistan and India are just going to nuke their countries or their neighbors next to them, right?
Right.
They have it through development, like over a course of time, or through different stuff.
And these are two countries that notoriously are not fond of each other, which is bizarre because right down to the DNA, they're the same people. They're just what used to be one massive country cut in half. Let's say, not literally, but cut in two, I should say. But they're both pacifist countries. Like, when was the last time you heard of India invading anybody, or Pakistan? They don't, they completely steer clear. So I think in their case, like, they've never made any, it doesn't mean they're not ever going to make any aggressive postures, but at least in the all of this in the modern day world, like, they have no intentions of other than remaining pacifists, like the same as Japan. And I'd even go so far as to say, I don't want to be accused of being completely pro-China just because I want to go there this year and buy a drone and film everything. But, these are all more or less pacifist countries where they have no ambitions to invade. You could say China, Taiwan, but that's a different, we're not going to get political.
Well, they're also at that point where they recognize their relationship with basically the United States, with the UK, and like, there's nothing worth jeopardizing that, right? Because they're not there to just beat down their population and starve them into nothing. So it's a little bit different.
Maybe the UK,
maybe India.
The UK is the one with the most blood on its hand throughout that entire portion of the Middle East. I mean, there's that's again a whole other topic. But ringing it, putting it all through a ringer so that we get all the water out of it, and it comes back
just a paper towel
so it comes back to Evan because he's been put through the ringer.
Yeah, I have been put through the ringer.
So anyway, wrangling that was the word I was looking for. Wrangling that all back in to all of the messaging there here, because there's a certain amount of the population that's looking at Trump out at the UFC and like, motherfucker is there, and we got people starving, and we got homeless, and we got this, and we got that, and I guess think about that messaging in this light. I'll send my VP. I'm going to send important people. We're taking this seriously.
Absolutely.
So we're going to put them on Air Force 2. They're coming over and everything. I'm going out to the fights. And what's funny is that while I was just kind of catching some highlights yesterday, I I knew I already knew that Trump was going to be at UFC, but it just kind of slipped my mind. But I noticed that, they were running the news when I was watching the Artemis stuff. I was watching him. It's like, Trump's departing, leaving the White House and heading to Florida. It's like, it's Saturday. Why wouldn't he just stay? Like, because he's going to be back in Monday. Like, so I'm watching this, and then here comes the fights. And then I was telling my friend, it's like, oh yeah, Trump's there. I was like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. No wonder why he's there. But think about the messaging, though, is that Trump, it's like just this position of stability. It's like, look, we just dropped, however many tens of thousands of munitions on you. We wiped you out. Yeah, we're going to come over and we're going to continue talking about, all the nuclear stuff and all those things. But here's how worried about it I am. I'm going out to the fights and we're stable. I'm not worried about you touching me or anybody here or doing anything here.
Right.
Like, it's a message of, stability and power, I think, at the highest level, I think.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
But it's, driving a certain percentage of the population a little nuts.
Oh yeah.
I was just trying to look to see who Iran sent. So they sent Mohammed Baghar, blah, 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 Speaker of the Parliament for Iran, Abbas Araghchi, Iran's foreign minister, and then a couple of security of Iran's National Supreme Security Council, governor of the Central Bank of Iran. So they didn't send their leader as well, probably because they're afraid he was going to get...
Well, there's been no public verification that it's Khomeini Jr., whatever the son's name
is, yeah.
There's been no public verification that he's even alive or not, living on life support at the moment, because they believe that he was in the room when Dad was killed.
Sure.
So I don't know. There is an element. Let's put our conspiracy hats on before we move on, and then try and wrangle back in our self-care and mental health here. But there's a possibility that they're all gone except for the guy who was actually in Pakistan with him, and it's just a sort of a not even a shadow government, but just like a last man standing or last people standing. Like,
well, and that's the thing. And, I think at that point, like, okay, if they're going, like, let's just say, for instance, this happened in the United States and you were sending, like, I don't know, local Ohio governors to go speak on behalf of the country.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, assuming we got attacked, and I mean, imagine they would have a plan of secession.
Of course they do.
Source,
it's like
right?
25 deep or some shit, right? Like, everybody's seen the movies that revolve around it. But either way, like, if 20 of them were taken out and you had 5 of the least important people, like, they'd be going over there just trying to basically stop the bleeding. But you'd have to, at the same point in time, show some sort of force, because you're basically like hoping to keep your shit together. And obviously when it comes to that regime, there's a lot of that power that's involved around religion and things like that. So if they give up at all, it's going to look bad on them. They'll be ousted, right? Any show of weakness is going to be, they're going to be gone. Basically the population will stand up, which I actually had a great conversation with 2 former Iranian citizens. They both have a daughter, on my daughter's cheer team. And we were having a conversation, and like somehow somebody else asked them, like, where are you guys from? And they're like, they're from Iran. They haven't been there since the 80s, 86, I think they said.
Yeah.
But and I was like, wow. I was like, I gotta ask you. I was like, this is totally off topic, but what's your like position on all this? And she's like, we're happy about it. And she's like, and our family back home is extremely happy about it. Like, you won't see them party in the streets for some time because of their being afraid of the IRG, but like for the most part, Iranian citizens are very excited. Like, they love Trump. They don't care if their entire country is in rubble at the end of this, as long as they can be free and do as they please.
Yeah.
And I was like, obviously you got to take it with a grain of salt. They've been in the United States for 40 years. It's easy for them to say that. Maybe they're conservatives in the sense that they've been here this long and they're pro-Trump and et cetera. But there's got to be some truth to that. To the people over there are just like, just please let us be free, especially when it comes to the youth of Iran, because, I mean, we're seeing it here, right? As the youth have more technology and more capability and stuff like that, like, they want to be able to be free to use it. They don't want to be restricted by, what's the word I'm looking for? Power. They don't want their government to be able to control them. They want to be able to enjoy the free society. Yeah. So it was just one of those things where it's like interesting to have that conversation with them and then take that and say, okay, like, maybe we are doing a good thing. Like as Americans, like we see high gas prices. We then see the return of inflation on food because gas prices are up and things like that. And don't get me wrong, like I don't care what side of the fence you're on. Like you're not happy about paying $5.50 for diesel, or my buddy who's in Southern California and San Diego paying $5.40 for gas right now. Nobody's happy about that. But to just stop while you're at it right now is just a waste, and it's like sacrificing for no reason at all. Like you want to get something out of this at the end that is going to be benefit us in the long term. And yeah, it might not be you ever see $2 gas again, or you might see, 99-cent stuff at the dollar store anymore. That's probably never going to happen because we allowed them to mark it up, and it's never going to go back down. Like that's just how certain things are just like that. Once they get you to start paying for it, it's all of a sudden it's not a big deal.
You adjust your lifestyle and your habits and everything. And
so that's like people are like, oh, inflation, things aren't getting cheaper. Well, no shit. Once you said you would pay $6 for eggs, the grocery stores realized you fucking would pay $6 for eggs. So while their teams are out there negotiating, trying to find the $1.50 egg pack, you're still willing to come in their store and pay $6, which means they get to higher margins, which they need because now nobody wants to work for less than $20 an hour. Right. Because shit's more expensive. Nobody's going to lower their rent when they've been charging you $1,700 a month for the last year. They're in fact probably going to try to raise it again because the market's starting to take off. And it's a never-ending cycle. And every time we allow that to happen, it's going to continue to stay that way.
To rewind back, and we did talk about this. If for those of y'all want to see a deeper dive on this, you can watch our previous episode on Iran, but I'll repeat something I said during that time, that our oil production here is perfectly fine for our own needs and everything. And even like they've been publicly stating now, 1/5 of the world's oil supply is coming out of that corridor. It just, our consumption here just doesn't happen to be provided from there. But our oil companies, which are multinational, who supply our petroleum that we put in our gas tank, is based on the world's supply. So 1/5 of the supply has been removed, and just like anything else, it's simple principle of economics, the law of supply and demand. So the demand hasn't really changed, but the supply has, because 1/5 of it's gone. So the price for it is going up, obviously. But that's neither here nor there. We needed to put a stop to the economy trading between that corridor and going to Russia, and that corridor, that economy going straight unchecked into China. Like that's really the bottom line there, is that we had to sever that pyramid there, because we go back to, the sea's rising. And I know climate people, the sea's literally rising, whatever. Just ask the Obamas and their oceanfront property out in Martha's Vineyard. That's right on the water. Of course, the ocean's going to rise and kill everybody. But no, the ocean's rising, but, so you want everybody to rise. But again, we can go up 10 points, together. I'm still, a million points past you. We're not going to close that gap. But I think it's important. And this is the thing that just most people don't understand, because they're either the type of people we were talking about earlier where, hey, I believe these things regardless of what you will ever say or whatever common sense ever says. I'm just looking for an excuse to argue with anybody who doesn't agree with my political views. So, and there's people like that on both sides of the fence, right?
Always.
But so, you set those people aside, but everybody else needs to understand that, like, this financial warfare that's going out there, it actually matters in a really, really big way. Like AI told us a couple weeks ago that China is going to surpass us by 2030. That's 4 years away.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
That was like 50 years from now or something like that.
It was 30 years ahead from now. That's what it was.
But either way, I mean, that's still a relevant feature, right? And that's part of the reason. I mean, for instance, China's been able to buy oil cheaper than the market price because they've been buying on the black market from Iran. Right. And fortunately, China has plenty of space and area available where they could just store that shit for,
they
to
have
keep
land.
them fine for plenty of time.
They have land.
Which is what they've been doing, which has been funding Iran, and the only reason that the IRGC and them have been able to build rockets, create rockets, etc.
It's because of that,
So, yes, putting a stop to that, where you say, hey, look, you're either going to trade on the open market, everybody's going to be allowed through, or we're going to knock it the fuck off and nobody's going to be able to trade. We'll put a damper on that, and that will be the fastest way to end Iran.
Yeah.
And I think, I didn't get a chance to see like the specifics, but I know right before the peace talks, they actually put a hurting on the island. What is it?
Karg Island.
Right, which is where all the oil is actually deployed out of. And they were trying to avoid that because I think the last thing Trump wanted was like, hey, if we come to an agreement on this, I want you guys to be able to trade. I don't want to ruin this for you. But
right.
If you force my hand,
then
like shit's gonna go down.
We're going home and we're taking our ball with us.
Yeah.
There was something you said there that triggered something that I thought was important before we moved on. But then
bombed Karga or bombed the island, told them they better stop trading with China or stop the war essentially by bleeding them out of the money.
No, yeah, it had
Building
to do.
bombs.
Oh, well, talking about, I guess when you were talking about how Iranians feel about being governed, we'll be polite and say governed the way that they were governed. I watched a really interesting documentary. I'm not going to give away the city. If you guys are interested, you can go out to YouTube and you can go find it. But I thought this was kind of interesting. So I have this trip in planning to go to Shenzhen, China. And while I'm there, I want to go over to Foshan. So these are provinces that are 2 hours outside of Hong Kong. One is kind of to the northwest, and one is kind of to the northeast from Hong Kong. You land in Hong Kong and you go from there. But anyway, both of these places.
Do you drive or do you get a buggy?
You want
somebody pedal you?
What you do is you get in a
a rickshaw.
A rickshaw. I was just trying to think, what's that thing called? The tricycle ones that you get in a rickshaw and then you go. Here's the thing: both of those places, they're already 50 years ahead of us. And Foshan in particular, which I have been to, I've never been to Shenzhen, but I've just seen pictures now. When I went to Foshan, it was worse smog than LA in the 80s. Like it was, pretty terrible. Like you had all the manufacturers there and everything. Shenzhen was a fishing village. And so Shenzhen is where DJI is and where all the tech companies are. But you don't take a rickshaw to get out there. You take the bullet train. And so from Hong Kong out there, it's like an hour and 10 minutes at, 210 miles an hour. Like
nice.
It's pretty gnarly. But the Shenzhen is a special economic zone. Again, I'm not here to educate everybody on China, but China's divided amongst, economic zones that, have different purposes. And so companies that trade with the West are mostly in technological companies are going to be in and around Shenzhen. That was a fishing village 20 years ago. Population like 28,000 people.
Wow.
Evan, tell us what the population of Shenzhen is today.
Hold on, I just got to.
20,000 people back in the day.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Not even really back in the day. Like what year is it? 2026?
Yeah.
So in 2006. Let's just take a quick look at that.
I can't even spell that.
S-H-E-N.
S-H.
It'll correct you. Z-E-N.
Z.
That'll be close enough.
Okay, let's see.
All right, so actually 1986 was 935,000. Now it's near 18 million.
So it might have been a little bit before.
Had a little bit of a glow up. Had a little bit of a glow up. Little bit of a glow up.
If they already had 900,000, they were already under construction at that point. So it might have been like 30, 40 years back. But
I mean, it was originally as a special economic zone in the 80s. It was transformed from a small border town into a major metropolis, which you kind of just talked about.
Yep.
That population's insane.
So, so here's so I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this. It's not my point, but so they took this fishing village near the port. So they realized, oh, okay, well, we can get ships in there and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's no longer a fishing village. It probably outlawed fishing there. But so all the tech companies went there. And so now, it said 18 million. So I heard upwards of 30 million are there now.
I mean, that's 2024, so it's very possible.
So, they lifted of course, China lifted the one-child policy several years ago. That's one thing. But, then you had people move there for economic opportunity and so forth. And so you have this massive city that didn't really grow outward, but it grew upward. You have massive apartment buildings and all that stuff. Obviously, got to fit 30 million people in there. So it's super, super techie there. You don't need to own a car in
Right.
this city. They literally have free ground transportation if you're traveling anywhere. If you have to be a resident, you have to have a resident ID. You download similar to an Uber app, and it's free anywhere you want to go in Shenzhen. So they've got transport. They've got all these things figured out. Blah blah blah. Okay, so I watched a documentary a couple nights ago that was about another city in China. And you get, again, the audience, you guys can go find this. It's pretty interesting, but it was basically the West Virginia of China. It's the one part of China that had like a drug problem, and you got farmers living. Are you trying to
What's the city name?
You're going to try and task AI with finding it?
Yeah.
You probably could do it that way, but I don't remember the name of the city. That's part of that's part of the problem here. But this is real, I promise. But anyway, this area was literally kind of like the West Virginia of China, where you just had, mountainous communities, people living, there's drug use, there's prostitution, there's all these things. And so the Chinese government came in and they built a city at the base of the mountain and built all of this housing and everything, and then went up into the hills and then, told all the people, hey, we have built all this housing down here. We want you to move down here. And, so for some people and these people were living in like clay huts and stuff. And we're not talking a long time ago. We're talking 10 years ago.
Right.
So, so right away, half the population decided, okay, we're going to move down to this area. And they moved down there because, now they were given jobs and they get, food from the, restaurant as opposed to, their goats and their cows that they're raising themselves and all that.
Communist.
So
the benefits of communism.
It's the elimination of poverty was what China's, their flavor of communism, of socialism, is to, eliminate that. And so they did this. And so I think it was about 3/4 of the village, day number 1, they all packed up. Now, their school for their children was at the base of this mountain. The children would have to climb a ladder up and down.
Did you just watch this video by a YouTuber named Sabbatical?
That's another one.
Describing Zakoi Lihagashan.
That's the place.
Poorest, most drug-addicted area, drawing direct parallels to West Virginia in terms of mountainous terrain, economic hardship, and substance abuse challenges. It documents the pre-location living conditions in remote villages, the scale of government-built settlement housing or lower elevations, ongoing recovery efforts, and remaining social issues. Interesting. So the transformations represent a major state-led effort to address the poverty-related social problems, one of China's most challenging geographic and demographic contexts. While significant progress has been reported in housing infrastructure, reduced extreme poverty such as employment, sustainability, and lingering health issues from drug epidemic persist. In some communities, official sources emphasize the program's success, while independent accounts provide nuanced views of both achievements and ongoing realities. So it's interesting though, because that is one of the things that communism brought to the table. The problem with communism is who's running it, right?
Right.
Who's the controlling body, and what else do you lose in that aspect?
Well, so the other part of this here is, so again, about 3/4 of the people just willingly said, well, yeah, I'd love to start living indoors. Oh, air conditioning? Hell yeah, let's go. Oh, heat during the summer? I don't have to, build a fire and risk.
Yeah, actual food? Sweet.
Yeah, food. Okay, so 3/4, came down. The other quarter that were up there that said, I don't want that. Fast forward to today, there's less than a handful of people living in those mountains now. And this guy went and hiked up it. So they used to, the children to get to school they'd climb up and down a ladder, which going down was 1 hour. And I say a ladder like made out of bamboo, like they literally coming out of the mountains. So the trip was an hour going down. It was 1 hour or 2 hours going up because you're climbing.
A little tougher.
Showed video of like the kids literally backpacks on and every day going up and down this ladder. And it's not like this, but it's
but
probably
still.
like that. But so now the trail that would lead you up there before was this narrow thing, and people would fall off and go down the mountain. So then they built like makeshift stairs up this whole thing. So when you're hiking it, they'll give you a safety harness. Like there's just a like a free rack of harnesses here, so you can, harness yourself and go up this thing, because it is pretty janky. And then, they're like, okay, well, if you're going to insist on living up here while, you're coming down here, we're going to build this walkway up here for you. Like, and this place is in the middle of fucking nowhere too, by the way. Like, so, and then on top of that, now it's like, that's not, we haven't done enough here. Now we need to monitor it. So then now you go out there, there's 5G cell service. These people don't have fucking cell phones. These guys are living in clay huts in the 2020s. Jesus. But there's 5G cell towers out there, but those are out there to run all the monitoring equipment for the CCP, because we built this walkway. Now there's cameras and everything up there, which, there's, if you think, for those who've been to the UK, if you think that's a surveillance state, wait till you go to Shenzhen. You have no idea what a surveillance state is until you go anywhere in China, Hong Kong.
I mean, not only that, but the technological advances. Like I've heard that there's like desires for you to be able to basically like look up and just be like, I would like DoorDash to order me X, and it like would show up, or, you don't have to like call or do anything else. Like I don't know how realistic that is, but I saw a special on it where they were talking about like that was the idea, where you could really walk out your door and like request a cab basically by speaking into air, and like it would show up.
We're just about there. So the thing that they started in Shenzhen, again, citywide, you got transportation. Still, it's an app on the phone. You do also have DoorDash there. So there's delivery boxes. So, you have the Amazon we have the Amazon lockers here at different places or whatever, but there in public, they have delivery boxes. So if I think you're not more than about a 5-minute walk away from one of these boxes anywhere in the city. So if you're hungry, you go and you open up the app, you input your order, and you have a menu. You want McDonald's, they have a bunch of American fast food over there, but whatever food that you want dim sum, anything you order it, you hit the button, it gets delivered by drone. And it's not 5 minutes, depending on what you order, it could be 20, 30 minutes, but
either way,
they're there.
They're like advanced beyond. And it's, you mentioned transportation earlier, bullet train, go 200 miles an hour. It's like, it's amazing to me, like as advanced as the Americans are as a society, we're still behind like most of these places, even like Europe, like in their subway system that is designed years and years and years ago, is far more advanced than anything that we have, at least in Ohio.
So let me ask what I think could be the $1 trillion question here is, why do you think we're behind?
Oh, God, I mean, why? There's like countless reasons you could think we're behind. One is our money spent on welfare programs and supplying other countries with food and whatever else is needed through the different programs and stuff that we have. Two is just government that is completely unreined as far as they get a blank check for X amount of dollars that they pass through some crazy bill that was supposed to be for, X, and it ends up turning it to be billions of dollars for Y, Z, and this other thing. And then you have, there's so much corruption spread out throughout, and it's not controlled. So like you mentioned, like China, the CCP runs everything. Like, go ahead and not spend this $10 million I'm giving you on this hill project, for instance, and you just disappear.
Right.
Versus here, like, I mean, you look at the education system, like, oh, you got all this money. Where did it go? I don't know. Detroit's spending $18,000 per kid to go to school, but they have one of the worst school systems in the country. So
unchecked.
Why is that? Oh, because nobody's like because once again, going back to Trump and one of the things he initially talked about, because those in charge of the education system from DC aren't paying attention to a fucking thing. They're just collecting and patting their own pockets.
Right.
Then you have the local school boards and things like that have an agenda, and then they're spending money on what they want based off that agenda, not what it's for, not focused on education necessarily. And then the local governments then tax their local citizens. We just had it here in Medina. Another school levy recently went through, right, after they just had one before. And so it's like then you have like a school system like Highland, who's 10 minutes away, superior to Medina in almost every single way. And we had them on, and he talked about how they hadn't had a school board or a levy in it. This was the first one in like 15 years or something like that, right? So just that is probably a part of the biggest reason that we fall behind. I mean, let's talk about in Hawaii, they had a rail system start that was supposed to be this epic rail system to get around, stopped mid-production after billions, or not billions, but millions of dollars.
No, it's billions.
And then didn't we talk about one in California, I want to say, with Newscomb?
Yeah.
Where he, and that money's just wasted and spent. We all spend it as taxpayers. And it's funny because we can all complain about who's president, right, left. We can complain about who's in government. We keep fucking voting them in.
Right.
Like realistically, these other countries put more of a focus on their people. You know, you can talk about the UK and whatnot, but frankly, the UK transportation system is better. Not even just UK, Europe in general.
Yeah.
I have been, you know, to Italy, to Greece, to all these different. You can catch a ferry and go from one island to the next. You can bring your car, your whole family. You sit in luxury. You're not squeezed into like some frontier plane where you got cattle space when you're trying to move. The subways are safe. The back alleys in these old neighborhoods that are thousands of years old are safe to walk in, you know, and we'd be in like downtown Milan or Venice or whatever. And you know, the hotel looks nice on the inside, but it's an old building on the outside because it's been there for thousands of years or hundreds of years. And, you know, at 2:00 in the morning, there's a 20-year-old girl walking her 2-pound poodle down a back without a care in the world. Right.
Is she redhead?
She's not a redhead. This is Italy. But so I think those are some of the reasons that you could say, why are we not as advanced? Because we just waste money.
100%. That's, yeah. You know, what's funny is you think about, let's talk about California as a microcosm for just a minute here. We're obviously both, you know, from there. Wow. And I'm not suggesting this just because I want to plug the 2 videos on the California wildfires that I just produced. But since we brought it up, the train there is definitely worth bringing into conversation. Politics completely aside, regardless of who you voted for and what have you, because there's been several governors, there's been several layers of politics involved in that. But like everything from what you just mentioned, Europe. I mean, look at Ireland, for instance. You know, you drive down roads where you and the car next to you don't fit on the road or the houses or anything, right? You got most of Europe was built based on horse and buggy transportation, not, you know, SUVs and jacked up pickup trucks.
Of course.
But somehow they manage to do public transportation better than anybody else. I mean, India, we were talking about India earlier. I mean, that's another one. Like there's more cars in India than anywhere else on the planet. And yet you also have a public transportation system there now. You know, some parts like Delhi, it's not exactly clean. You don't want to really live on it, or you don't want to be on it if you know, respect your liver, or any other organs in your body. But anyway, these other places that are far more congested have figured out, you know, public transportation and, you know, so much of a better way. And yeah, you go to California now, the high-speed rail project there was sold to the taxpayers there end to end. Hey, you could get onto a train in San Diego and we could deliver you to San Francisco in a little under 4 hours. Now, I have flown from Southern California to the Bay Area more times than I could even guess, from living there. And I've been to all the airports. I've been to every airport in California, just about. A Southwest flight, you know, from either San Diego or LA area, it's an hour to get to the Bay Area. Now, you add wait times in line, you got to get a car, you got to do this, that, and the other thing. Like you're going to burn 4 hours with that trip, with either, you know, an hour and a half on each end, you know, roughly, plus the flight time. So the idea of being able to drive over to the train station and, you know, you walk in and you scan your card and you hop in the train and 3 hours later.
Take a nap. I mean,
we know Evan would.
But like, I mean, that's the idea. Like it happened to us in Europe. You know, you get a train out to Stonehenge. It was a couple hours from London. Like, you don't have to drive. You can just relax, take a little bit of a breather, and then you get out there and you can enjoy the whole day or whatever.
Yeah,
so yeah, there's rather than you spending 4 hours on the road, you get there, you're exhausted, your ass cheeks are sore. Like
get your computer out. You know, get some work done.
Of course.
You know, find well, I'm not going to complete that thought. Anyway, you got time to do lots of activities while you're traveling. Well, so anyway, so they sold this to the taxpayers there, and I was a California taxpayer at this time.
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, so they sold this with the idea of it was $33 billion in change. We will have a high-speed rail to get you from. And there was all sorts of commercials and everything. I actually did a full video on the train too, which it's a long video. It's a little tough to get through it because there's a lot with it. But the completed project, I think, for what they're projecting now. Oh, and by the way, yeah, 2008, it was supposed to start carrying passengers by 2020.
Right. I was just gonna say I pulled it up. So original project was 33 to 45 billion. Completion date around 2020, and that was to get you from the San Francisco to Anaheim, Los Angeles area.
Yep. It was originally San Diego. Then they moved the southern point up to the Anaheim
Makes
Amtrak
sense.
station. There's a pretty big presence there in Anaheim right off the 5. So fast forward to today. Well, so when Trump was swore in, he revoked the last round of federal funding into this project because their current estimates, I think, are 2030 to 2035. And this is no longer we can go from LA to the Bay Area. We can now go from Bakersfield to Merced.
Right.
Now, do you know where these places are?
I haven't been to any of these. The last time I've been to California is probably 2012, and that was San Francisco.
You're part of the majority because nobody has any fucking clue. Some people, if you're a country music fan, you may have heard of Bakersfield, you know, but I promise you, nobody's fucking heard. The people who live in Merced haven't even heard of Merced.
Yeah, I don't even know where Merced is, and I know where Bakersfield and Barstow are. So
Yeah.
where is Merced?
Merced is in the middle of fucking nowhere.
I'm sure.
Is exactly where it is. It's actually so one of my really good buddies used to work for the sheriff's department there. Like it's a farming community, really. It's a farming community / gang community.
So rural, yeah, okay, gotcha.
Very rural. It is in the literally, if you look it up on the map, you see, here's Southern California. Here's, let's say here's LA, and then here's, San Francisco, Sacramento. Merced is going to be out in the middle of the armpit of California, in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So you're gonna they have this. Oh, and I don't know if I said that, but they're up to like 130 some odd billion dollars on this train.
Yeah. So according to Chet or Grok here, project is going to approximately cost 126 billion now, so triple the cost.
Yeah,
and
quadruple the cost.
And at this point in time, it's going to be 2033 or later before you could get from Kern County to Merced, which is hilarious because at that point in time, you could probably call Amazon and just catch a ride on a drone. Like I watched that TV show you were talking about.
Yeah.
The one, what was it called? Where the lady like
Pluribus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where like they leave her stranded there. They're like, oh, we needed our space.
Yeah.
So they start delivering shit, picking up her trash by drone. And I was like, that's more likely to happen in California in 2035 than this fucking high rail system that they mooched off the
for the geographically challenged out there, just to put this in perspective. So, okay, New York City, Manhattan, okay. There's, I don't know, Evan, maybe you could tell us by way of searching like what the average salary cap is in Manhattan, New York City. High paying jobs there, massive, right?
course.
Like you have Wall Street
like
there.
400,000 plus.
I think
at least,
well,
I'd imagine.
Mandami was just talking about it the other day. I think it's lower. I think average, because you had to keep in mind, they got a shit ton of janitors and stuff like that. But I think if you took like the educated class, it's probably $500,000.
Sure.
But you average out, janitors and all that other stuff, and police.
Okay, the average salary cap, in believe it or not, there's okay, they said it's 80 to 81,000. That's the average. That's the medium household. And then higher class is 127 to 130.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's lower than I thought.
Yeah,
it's because of like I said, it's all the blue collar stuff there. But okay, so here's an area where it's super congested. Not a smart place. If you have $500,000 salary, you can afford parking in a car, but for the most part, those people get into work by train.
Of course.
And so, and they do, despite our bullshitting about, how terrible, the US is about subways and stuff. I mean, they do it better, I think, than anybody else in the country.
Yes,
I'd say that. So
Safety wise, maybe not. But I would avoid the subway at all
I would
costs
wear
if I-
Kevlar.
Yeah.
But if you're living in Long Island, which is not close to Manhattan at all, especially if you're going to drive it, it's not close. But
Well,
if
not
you're
to mention the traffic.
that's what I mean. To
Yeah.
drive it, it just wouldn't make any sense. But you can get on the train and you can make that ride in 20 minutes, and
Right.
that's that makes perfect sense, right? Regardless of the speed of the train, you can go even further. There's people that live, near north of DC that then take there's people live in Baltimore that work
Sure.
in Manhattan because the jobs are that it makes sense and they don't mind riding the what was fucking Sleepy Joe's like whole thing riding the train
Yeah.
from Delaware to New York and but anyway, so that's definitely a thing, so it makes sense. This train in California is connecting an area. Why don't you now Google what the average salary of people is in Bakersfield, California? Because I promise you it's a lot less than what it is in New York. It's
course.
unbelievably low. It's, there is some ag, there is some oil out there too.
The interesting part of all this, though, is the people of California don't complain. They just suck it up and keep voting in the same Democratic governors who go in there and say, hey, we're just going to.
Now that's top line. I could tell you the areas that I spend my time at when I'm in California, they absolutely fucking complain about this because they're not in LA. They're not in San
Sure.
Fran. But unfortunately, that's where the alleged voting public is. And they're, but so it makes sense to move people by train to somewhere like Manhattan or into Chicago, or even I would even go so far as to say something like Cleveland if you're on the outskirts and you want to hop on the RTA.
I
to
mean,
get
I
in,
would,
but-
if you, frankly, you could literally go across every state in the country
and
find one or two
Right.
spots
Yeah.
where it would make sense for the government to invest trillions of dollars into a high-speed rail system.
Yeah.
Where instead of me taking a plane to Chicago, which is an ordeal, like you said, show up 2 hours early, wait in line, go through checkpoints, blah, 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 take a 45-minute flight to Chicago or hour and 10-minute flight, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then have to get out, try to find a car, a cab, etc.
Yeah.
I would gladly go drive to Cleveland, park my car, get on a train that
And
gets
then
me
just-
there in 50 minutes and
Yeah.
be done, right? Which we could do.
Yeah.
It's kind of, now it'd be a little bit more difficult, but over the course of time, that was possible.
What
But
do you,
that would be more beneficial to these bullshit fucking train systems. That,
Yeah.
like a standard train to being developed to get you from we'll talk about these places in a minute, but even from San Francisco to Los Angeles area, standard train to do that is still almost more or less practical than catching a $70 flight.
a train, you can look that up on Amtrak. That's like a 14-hour ride to go
Yeah.
from San Fran to LA by train, by today's train, because
Right.
you're going to change trains like
course.
8 times. But what do you got for salary in Bakersfield?
50 to 65,000.
Well, that's even higher than I thought it was there. But
55 to 65.
yeah.
Well, because you probably have outliers that have property. and
There's
stuff out there.
petroleum there. I mean, our former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy's from Bakersfield.
Right.
Shout out, Kevin.
He's probably fucking up everybody's fucking average income.
He
with
is.
his
He
14
actually, I don't know if you guys are aware because we haven't talked about him since they removed him, but he actually resigned from Congress when they removed him from the speakership. But anyway, so you have Bakersfield, Merced. You don't have to look it up, but I already know the average salary is even lower up there. So
Probably like 40.
you're connecting two towns that don't have any tech. They don't have. I mean, their biggest employers, respectively, are probably Amazon,
right.
maybe education. I don't know. I don't care to know. But like, what my point is that you don't have like a New York City. Like you don't have.
No.
You don't even have a Cleveland there.
No,
like in any of these
that's the
areas.
thing, and then you got to develop around it. Right now, you need rental car places at each side because you need people to be able to rent a car and then be able to go, and then you need hotels there.
Yeah.
It's really a pointless development.
Yeah.
It'd be like getting a train from Medina to Strongsville.
That's-
I mean, maybe not that short. Let's say Medina to Millersburg.
I mean,
like that's the irrelevance
yeah.
of it. Like,
so you can
what-
go to Amish country.
Yeah,
in
like
Millersburg.
great. I
It's-
took a fucking train from Medina to fucking Amish country. I would have rather just spent.
I
30
would
minutes
even
in the
do
car.
one better than that. Like in this, sorry, non-Ohioans here, but yeah, I would just make the distance further, and I would make it probably more like imagine being able to take a train from Norwalk
Yeah, you're
to
right.
Coshocton.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. $200 billion just a sign right here. But so there's no other explanation for this boondoggle of this train in California other than making people wealthy because they bought land to make it happen. And when they couldn't buy land, they eminent domained the land, which means they bought it at even less than they offered initially and got the land anyway. And so when you're driving up Highway 99 in California, like, you can see it. Like, you've been able to see it since, they did break ground on it back in, I think, in 2009.
But they have not laid one piece of actual track.
They're just now starting to. I saw a great meme the other day. If I had prepared for this, I would have brought it. But it compared the Artemis. Like, it talked about those two things where it's like, you guys want to argue about how money is spent. Well, look at Artemis, which, was whatever it was, like $20 billion or something like that.
Yeah, that already made it up and around the moon.
It made it up and around the moon, landed them back here. So that was $20 billion. And then here's the California high-speed rail, $133 billion. And it was one of those charts that said Artemis passengers carried 4. California high-speed railed, passengers carried 0.
I wonder if I can find that meme while you're pulling it.
Yeah, that was a good one. You find that, I gotta pee. That's the one.
Jesus.
All right, we're back. So here's the meme. NASA Artemis, $4 billion. Planning began in 2017. 4 passengers traveled 695,000 miles. California Bullet Train, $126 billion. Planning began in 96. 0 passengers, 0 miles traveled. So, that's quite impressive. Congratulations to the state of California and all of their success.
0 passengers there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we've gotten quite off subject, but interesting process. I'm not even sure how to transition that into men's mental health or men's self-care. But we're gonna try and do that, and we're gonna, see how this goes. Let's see. All right, how can we do this? All right, well, obviously the state of California doesn't take care of itself, but how do men take care of themselves? That's what I'll start this.
Depends on
That's how we'll
talking about.
Yeah, that's how we'll get into there. So we're gonna break this down in a couple of core questions. I'll ask you guys each. Do men take care of themselves for themselves, perception, or a spouse?
Depending on the man.
So wise of you to say that, Evan. Tell me, how do you take care of yourself, and who do you do it for? And why do you do it, if you do it at all?
Let's just say, what do I do, or like?
No, I mean, do you consider yourself making self-care a priority?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, you do.
Yes. Well, you gotta understand me. Type 1 diabetic.
Okay.
So if I didn't take care of myself, I would have death, macular degeneration. What's it called?
That means he'd be going blind.
So when you say you take care of yourself, you do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when you take care of yourself, you obviously have a high, robust diet that's specific to diabetes.
Not a high,
like you don't just eat whatever you want.
No, I used to eat whatever I want, and I sometimes do. I'm not gonna lie.
Just sometimes.
The weekends, Monday through Friday.
That's the weekend. Okay.
We go.
Monday through Friday.
We go through this with Evan all the time. I've literally seen him prep food one time.
Yeah.
He sent me a photo.
Oh, I prep food all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. But if you ask him to go get dinner on a Wednesday night at a pizza joint, he'll join you.
Oh yeah.
I know it.
Or ramen.
Oh,
He literally just told me like a week ago, like I bought pizza for the whole bar last night. Like
that was a weekend.
Yeah. It was. I think it was a Wednesday actually.
Was it? Oh yeah, was it Wednesday? Yeah.
Hey, don't rule out ramen too. He likes to go to ramen.
Like good ramen.
Real good ramen.
But I don't eat to the excess of like indulging myself. I'll eat maybe.
How many breakfasts do you order on a Saturday morning?
1.
It's only one breakfast if it's one guy eating.
Is that because you're?
Yeah.
I've seen you have a waffle, egg omelet with and bacon all on the same plate.
It's all feeding one guy. So it's one breakfast.
I only eat one time breakfast, so that means
one breakfast.
I'm just laughing because it's funny. Like
you understand.
We're talking about men's self-care, right? And I'm asking the question of like, hey, why do men do it? And I'm asking Evan, which is the epitome of like the opposite of self-care, right? Like,
well, I go to the gym 5 days a week. I lift 5 days a week.
Hold on. Let's just pause you for just a second, just so we understand like your habits and your system. So Walk us through your day yesterday in terms of your self-care. Like start with you woke up in the morning, right?
Yeah, yesterday. I woke up about 8:39.
Okay. It was a Saturday yesterday.
No lies. You don't got to lie to kick
No,
I want the straight hardcore truth.
No, 8:39, and of course, I had to go to the bathroom. I
Okay.
had to take a piss.
Oh,
and then
number one, not number two when you wake up?
No, number one, always number one, always.
Okay.
And then after that, went downstairs, got some was it Gatorade powder, threw it in my coffee mug, had some of that.
Okay.
Took my vitamins.
Vitamins.
Took
Okay.
my what's it called? Copictolite.
Okay.
Took my almonds vitamin, all-in-one vitamin, and my BCAAs.
Okay.
Went up back to my room and just edited photos until.
You didn't eat breakfast?
No, I had breakfast. I had lunch actually instead.
Skip breakfast
I
yesterday?
skipped,
Okay.
because I was just editing photos for like 3 hours.
Okay. What'd you have for lunch?
Lunch, it was an egg sandwich. I just.
Oh.
Bacon,
I mean, breakfast, you can eat 3 meals a day. I mean, I would.
Eggs, 3 eggs,
Okay.
apple, and carrots.
Okay.
And then 2 pieces of toast. I just made it into a sandwich.
All right. And then back to editing. Okay.
Then back to editing until then. Nina called. Was it Nina or
Don't
Will?
you Nina called me? What did you do next?
And then they tried to invite me out to go dinner yesterday,
Okay.
and I was already had plans.
Okay. What'd you have for dinner?
I didn't eat dinner until 5:36.
Okay.
I can't even say the Mexican place.
Okay. So you had Mexican food for dinner?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Well, we went to the Sandbox.
Okay. So aside from like all the social stuff and everything, so like when you look at that, what part of that is like your self-care? Just maybe just the morning, like the water, vitamins,
yeah.
and then.
Well, I went to the gym after I got talked off the phone. I went to the gym, then came home for about an hour and a half, and then went back straight to Beechwood.
Okay.
So did that. So my self-care is 3 things: gym,
Mhm.
making sure I take my medication that I need to do, and gym medication, because the gym is more mental health and physical for me. And then physically is the pills and the insulin.
Explain the gym and the mental health like connection. Like what?
Well, the gym is I like the gym because it's someplace I can just go lift and just think about things while I'm lifting and focus on other things than work,
Yeah.
assignments.
Okay.
It's and I just don't even like when I'm lifting, it's just quiet in my head.
Okay.
So I just listen to my music or my audiobooks. It's one of the two.
You got
And I
some
just-
earbuds in
Yeah.
and just kind of tune everybody out. Do you
Yeah.
socialize with anybody
A
while
little
you're at
bit,
the gym?
yeah. Some people come up to me. Some regular like gym people come up to me.
You
and
have
just-
friends there that
and
you see
and
on the
then we
regular.
just say hi, how's it going? And then usually about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I start lifting again.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
And you don't do any cardio. You're just
I do cardio, but not like long. I do about 15 to 20 minutes on the treadmill.
just on a walk, just
on a
kind of get the
walk
blood
or
going.
jog. That's
Okay.
I go back and forth
Okay.
depending on the day. If it's a leg day, I walk. If it's not a leg day, I jog.
I've seen Evan at the gym. He does none of that.
I
He
do-
works out for about 2 minutes when he does like 3 exercises, and then somebody shows up that he knows and he disappears on you for the whole rest of the workout.
Did you have your camera with you at the gym yesterday?
No.
How often do you have a camera with you at the gym?
Probably 1 out of 3 times.
So let's get back now that we've
That's every other day.
now
by
that
the
we've
way.
scrutinized Evan's fucking
Yeah, no,
you like
geez.
literally picked through
So
it.
let's go to the base. When it comes to men's self care, I'll ask you this, David. Do you think guys do it for themselves, for somebody else, or for perception?
Yeah. Man,
And does it change based off relationship status? I guess,
100%. And it's all 3 of those things,
Yeah.
really. Like, yeah, it depends on phase of life and, goals per se. And I mean, it could even change, daily, I think, for some. But, I am an unmarried person. I'm a divorced person, happily divorced person. So, if I were
Do you consider how long have you been divorced?
a while,
Yeah. Do you still say you're a divorced person, or at that point are you just single?
is you just reset?
Yeah.
I'm single.
Like
unattached,
if you're
but,
introduced,
like,
hi, I'm David. I'm recently divorced, or I am a divorce. Like I feel like at some point in time you
Yeah.
stop checking divorced on the application.
well, it depends on the application, but yeah, that's one of the. I'm trying to remember the last time I filled something out that had those boxes like single, married, or divorced, and it's
Right.
like, okay, they put fucking divorced on here. I mean, yeah, I'm divorced, but I'm single. Like,
Right.
you know, it's kind of like on social media. You'll see that some people have like divorce there. Like, you know, it's like,
Why would
why
you
is-
just be single?
why? Yeah, why not just you know, you just
or it's complicated.
yeah.
So basically, you're cheating.
I like it's complicated. It's like, oh, I'm getting my
It's very
dick sucked
complicated.
tonight for sure.
Yes.
It's complicated. I got into a big fight, and I'm just looking for someone to give me some kudos.
2 minutes of gym exercise, and you know the rest. Bring your camera and Evan. No, but
Hey.
no. So yeah, if I were married, then obviously. Or if I had children, for instance, you know, if there, you know, is going to be something, you know, I guess when I look at, to answer that question, I look at, all right, well, what's in my wake in terms of, you know, my family and my responsibilities. So, no spouse, no kids. But if I had those things, then all of those things have to really stay in focus. Like, I do believe, says the guy who's divorced, I do believe like you have to focus on yourself first, because if you're useless to yourself, then you're going to be useless to everybody that's in that wake that's with you.
Sure.
So I do, you know, believe that, you know, it's the, you know, on the airplane, you know, it's, you know, when the oxygen masks come down, you know, put yours on first and then, you know, your child, if they're still alive. If your child didn't die because you took all the oxygen first, then help them. But, you know, it's kind of, I guess I look at it from that perspective. So to answer your question, I think, you know, I've certainly been all three myself. So I think that'll change. I think that in today's world, particularly with younger people, it's more about impression out there, right? There's entire mental illnesses and studies of such based on just
The perception other people have on them
yeah.
from social media and
yeah.
stuff like that. I didn't get enough likes on this flex
Yeah.
picture or something of that nature.
right.
Yeah.
And speaking of likes, fucking like this podcast, subscribe, and tell your sister about it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting when I read that question. It's like, all right, do men whatever your self-care routine is throughout
Yeah.
the day, throughout the week, etc. One, it definitely changes over multiple periods of your lifetime. You know, for instance, my perception or my self-care during my last marriage, especially the last 2 years, was extremely poor because of my mental space. And maybe it affected my mental space. After my divorce, like we talked about earlier, like men go through these resets where they like want to reinvent themselves because whether they meet another friend who's empowers them or, motivates them, or they watch a documentary, or something changes in their life where they're, or they're back on the single market, where you're like, all right, I'm not happy with where I am. I want other people to be happy about me. So like, I need to reinvent myself. But I think that happens not just at the end of a relationship for guys. I think it happens multiple times through their lives, and it has to, right? Whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're with kids, etc. And who you're doing it for. I think who you're doing it for matters, whether it's the perception of others or it's your perception of yourself. To me, it's more powering when it's your perception of yourself. So like you said, taking care of yourself first is, being important in a relationship. I talked to you guys earlier. I've been married now for 4 years, been in the same relationship for 9 years. We're about to have our first child. And I feel like me personally, I needed a reset. Like there's bad habits that I've created. There's different things that I did that I stopped kind of self-caring because I'm with somebody. I'm on a day-to-day basis. Like, I'm not out there looking for somebody else. But there's other things that I'm really highly important to me, whether it's starting this podcast and doing well. I still want to work out 5 or 6 times a week. My appearance is important, but I don't know what it is. It's like a mental space that you get into. It's almost like you get complacent. Like, yeah, you might go to the gym 6 days a week. Do you really make the most of that gym time when you're there? Or, yeah, you're focused on your career and your job, but are you just focused on not losing that job? Or are you focused at like excelling at it? And I'm at that point in my life right now where like I want to reassess my self-care. I've kind of spent the last 2 weeks kind of like noting all the things that I'm either happy with or not happy with, and I'm going to try to create a plan around it. But I thought that was why it was great to come up with this idea and have this conversation, because I feel like as as men, it's important for us to always continue to look at our self-care routine. You know, maybe you shaved your balls once a week before when you were single, and now you've been married, and after 5 years or 6 years, 7 years of marriage, like you don't shave them except like once a year because it gets like a fucking forest down there. And
wait, you guys have hair on your balls?
Yes, I do. I am a Wookiee.
Yeah. But you know, whatever those different things take, or you know, people that get married and then they stop working out or they stop going to the gym. And I think what happens is one day you look in the mirror and your spouse might be happy she's with you, but your opinion of yourself matters more than anything. And if you're not always reinventing yourself, or not even reinventing yourself, but always evaluating yourself and putting yourself first, your relationship will suffer, because it's harder to put work into your relationship when you're not exactly happy with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes on a lot of cases. That's not just physical appearance, like shaving your beard, getting a haircut, working out, or whatever those things are, dieting, being with your family, etc. It's also, you know, are you succeeding at work or things like that? It also goes into the fact of, you know, bad habits that we create outside of that, right?
Well, we'll pause right there for just a second, because I want to, I think kind of like profoundly, you sort of outlined a cycle there, and we've talked about this before several times, but like the cycle that I'm thinking of is like, okay, so you're a single guy and you're like, fuck, man, jerking off is fun, but you know, I need to get, it needs to be somebody else there with me tonight. Like, this is my goal. And so you set out with that goal of like, all right, I'm getting laid tonight. And various guys have varying levels of success at this, but if you go out and you have that desperation on you, I would say the quality, maybe physically, but also mentally and everything else, the quality of the person that you bring home is probably not going to be that great.
Sure.
Because you left and, you know, you were desperate in the morning, and now you're out and you're desperate, and, you know, you're trying everything, and you end up with, you know, a fucking sea creature from a lagoon. Okay. Or, you know, somebody from Waffle House.
Hey, don't judge.
No judgment. Sorry. Anyway,
no names, please.
Anyway, so that's apparent. All right. Now, let's say, you know, you succeed or you fail on whatever, and then you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to get back into the gym. I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to start doing these things, and, you know, I'm going to pick up a new hobby. I'm going to start reading. I'm going to start doing these things that made me,
I'm going to better myself.
I'm going to better myself. And then, so now all of a sudden, like, you know, you've done a few things, you know, maybe, you know, you moved your belt notch up one, your, you know, clothes are a little looser, and you're kind of like, oh, I'm getting some attention. Now your confidence is coming up. And then you're out somewhere, and then you meet somebody who then ultimately becomes your partner, you know, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, spouse. Like you put yourself into an ideal state, and you were attractive at that moment. And, you know, your partner said, yeah, I'm attracted to that. And then boom. And then now, to your point, you start changing your habits. So your habits before, the morning you woke up and you're like, fuck, I'm getting calloused here. Help me, you know, like, you know, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get something, right? So you change your habits into the positive, and you create all these great things for yourself, and then it works for you, and you're like, oh, this is nice. Yeah, she's nice. Like, I cook, she's nice. We like the same things. We like to do this. We like to do that. You sort of get complacent. You stop doing the things because you were forced into a change because it was, you know.
Well, it was just you versus with somebody else now, too.
Right.
Like, it's not even that you're complacent in the sense like you don't want to take care of yourself, but now all of a sudden, like, there's somebody there to tell you that the carpet needs vacuumed or the grass needs mowed because you didn't mow it. Whereas before, like, I could do that at 11 o'clock at night, but now that other person wants you to spend quality time with them and to do things. And this isn't a negative thing. Like, that's just the difference in what women want versus what men want. The men are task oriented, focused on what's in front of them.
Yeah.
It changes periodically, day to day. And our opinion of quality time might be different than a spouse or a wife or whatever's quality time. So, like, yeah, you start to like, all right. And then, like, there's so much changes, like your life just changes and motivates. Like, and if I was fortunate enough that I've caught myself this last couple of weeks, not just by my own account, my wife's mentioned some things as well. And it's like, man, yeah, you're right. Like, we're not having sex as much as we used to. Maybe I should stop whacking it fucking once a week. You know what I mean? And it's like,
well, it's hard for guys because guys get stuck. What you were saying, get stuck in a routine.
Well, it's not only that, but
It's
it's like
just-
it just shit just happens, and you're like, fuck it, you care about yourself, like,
Yeah.
and then you do these different things, and it's like, oh, that's a bad fucking habit, or whatever the case may
and,
be.
and it's
you know?
and it's hard because men are used to their routines, and then women, I've seen they're used to just their way a lot of times. So that's why I'm single, because my ex would always comment about certain things. Oh, we should go do this, or we gotta do this, and I'm like, I gotta do. My priorities is going to the gym.
Whacking it, number
Wh-
2.
Well, when she was around, it was not whacking. It was her whacking it.
Oh, okay.
That was her. That was her.
I was gonna
you
say, if
didn't have
that's
you didn't still have me time,
I had me time. Maybe
like me whacking it. Time, I mean.
you mean wrestling the
My
dragon?
wife doesn't
Wrestling the
understand like
dragon.
why when you have a wife and why like when they're willing all the time, why men still masturbate, and I can't figure it out. I was like, sometimes it's just easier and
Oh, it's
takes less
easier.
time.
It's
yeah.
well,
you don't have to go to Kohl's after either. It's fucking lovely.
Yeah, or Target. You don't have to go to Target.
Right.
Like, I know it's a bad thing for those out there. Like, masturbating and porn is bad. Like, I get it. Like, trust me,
Yeah.
I get it. I hear about it. But at the same point in time, sometimes it's just easier to take that 5 minutes, move on, and then fucking focus on shit. And you know what? Like, there's other shit to take care of at 10 o'clock at night, like fucking making dinner and fucking rubbing shoulders and whatever else.
Rubbing her feet. Don't rub.
It's just, and it's bad. Like, but that's part of self care. It's part of my
It's part, and it's again, it's different self care. If I was single, doing that stuff was all fine. But when you're married, say for like my grandfather was 15, 20 years, 30 years, he's like, I'm okay doing my stuff, but when your grandmother wants something, guess what? She gets it. She'll get it no matter what. I'm sorry, but
I bet she got it.
Oh,
if there's women out there listening, they're like, oh, see, I told you, it's
Yeah, but
okay.
yeah,
That's the
but-
way it's supposed to be.
but
Thanks,
that-
Evan.
but
Fucking
that-
it up for everybody else.
Yeah.
but that was the times back then.
Oh, yeah.
That was the men back then. The men sacrificed their lifestyle for their kids, for their wife,
Because they didn't have Instagram.
and they didn't have other things. But again,
Well, I think that there's
It's-
just a lot more to distract you as a man too nowadays.
Today,
like,
that's
and
correct.
I
Yeah.
fall. Like, for instance, today I streamed like 3 hours of that fucking new TV series Marshalls with the dude
I
from
love
Yellowstone.
Is it good?
that.
It's good. It's great. And it's like at the same point in time, I'm like, I wasted 3 hours of my life today.
You're never getting that back.
Right. And so
Yeah.
that happens periodically. How long have you like sat on a toilet for 25 minutes scrolling?
Mhm.
Or, I mean, shit, preparing for a podcast episode, there'll be times where I'm like trying to get a bunch of stuff and then I get onto a tangent and then I'm watching a video. And while I'm doing that, I'm playing a game on my phone or something. It's like, God, I need to like focus my day out on these different things. And that's all part of self-care. And it's also part of mental self-care. I think you get to the
Yeah.
point where, you know, I told my wife today, I was like, I don't know, I'm at this point where like, I'm like just disconnected from shit. There's things that are important to me, but like I'm mentally, I can sense that I'm disconnected. And if you're disconnected, make sure you check out the link in our description for 10% off onlinetherapy.com. Find your perfect counselor without having to go. Now, luckily I had the VA and I'm all fucked up from PTSD and maybe that has something to do with it. But at the same point in time,
That could be a big thing.
I feel like I finally have like noticed that I need to do some things with self-care, but that's hard. And when you have a life and a spouse and
Yep.
kids and things like that, I think for some men it's even more difficult
Yeah.
to make time for that self-care because you just always feel like you got to do stuff for other people, and it might even be looked at as selfish or whatever when you do things for yourself.
But again,
And then my wife would quickly point out if I started shaving my balls once a week, getting a haircut once a week, and edging out my beard
Who's
once
that
a week,
for?
like I fucking
Who's
damn
that for?
right.
who's that for?
That
Who's that
question's
for?
100% coming up. Who's that for? Who are you trying to impress?
She already knows it's Evan.
What the fuck? No way. Get the
So let's talk about, you know, we brought it up, shaving the balls. Let's talk about how men's self-care has changed. Even like you're 53
Allegedly.
allegedly. I'm 43. Evan, you're 38,
no.
6,
Yep.
9, whatever.
36.
So
No.
like
Third floor, fourth floor,
Yeah.
fifth floor.
so
I
like
it. Girls go up.
they're
I mean-
skipping the fourth floor. I'm fucking happily married, which means they're just going past the third up to the fifth. Is what you're
that
saying?
usually happens.
That's why you're not dating. You're on the third floor. You got to move up.
Well, we moved up in about 4 years.
So that being said, though, you know, what are some ways like in your own life that like men's self-care do you think has changed? I say shaving the balls because I feel like
100%.
that is definitely something that started like when I was like probably in my 20s. So that would have been like 2002, 2003. I felt like that's when it became a thing where like people are like, bro, shave your balls. Like, you shave your balls, and then you're like,
Got him.
then you're like, wait, this is actually way better. There's a lot less pubes on the urinal when I go to use it.
Right.
But what are some other things that you think have changed, and whether it be physically, mentally, or even like what's the word I'm looking for? Superficial. What are some of the things that have changed over the course of our lifetime?
I think one thing is I know some guys that go get medi and pedis, and I'm like,
yeah, that's true.
I've only done it twice. Not gonna lie, I've done it twice. I've done it once with my mother and once with my uncle. Because
didn't see that
didn't see that
Still
coming.
talking about mani pedis, right? Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
so I've done it twice. Once with my mother, once with my uncle. Because my uncle likes to get. He's very like he likes to get it done properly and stuff. So I'm like, whatever.
I got a manicure once, a pedicure. Actually, there's a point in time where I got a manicure like every 2 weeks. Pedicures, I've only had.
But
two
when I was in
my life.
high school, any man that went to get mani and pedi considered gay, 100% gay. When I was in high school.
Yeah, I think it was a feminine thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, did you when you were in high school? Does anybody get mani pedis?
None of the guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was in high school in the 80s, so
Yeah.
that's part of it is definitely we're in a different phase of gaydom nowadays.
I like that.
I mean,
But it's fascinating about that. And then my parents tell me when they were growing up, men with hair was sexy. Now today's society, if you have too much hair, you either have to wax or cut it.
Are you talking about like your back and chest?
My hairiness. Oh, all the girls make that was like the number one problem half the time.
I will definitely say I think I was in high school when shaving your armpits became a thing.
Yeah,
and
it's
I think I've shaved my
swimmers would shave their entire bodies,
Right.
like 'cause,
yeah, but there's a
there's-
reason
yeah.
for that. But like, I don't even know what made me shave my armpit hair because, like, obviously you go for a point when you're like hitting puberty where you're like, sweet, I got armpit hair, or I got hair on my balls, and then at one point you're like, oh man,
Oh my God.
armpit hair stinks, bro. Like, and
And you thought shaving it was gonna fix the smell?
You probably had to itch like a motherfucker.
What?
You had to itch like a motherfucker.
No, not at all.
Really?
No, not at all. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Really?
So I've
Wait, do you
shaved-
still shave them?
Yeah, I
Really?
yeah, like probably every my armpits. I probably shave it like every 10 to
we
12
don't
days.
know because we don't look
You
at it.
guys do or don't shave?
No,
your
I
armpits?
don't.
You
Do
never
not.
shaved your armpits?
I
No,
never
either?
have.
I never have.
Really?
Never have. no.
I despise the look of like, especially if you're at a restaurant and somebody wears a tank top in the restaurant and they like reach over something, you can see their arm hair. Like
Yeah.
to me, it's like fucking hate that guy.
That's fallen in my soup.
yeah,
I
it's
know.
like just shave your.
Come to
fucking-
think of it, we've never been outdoors and you've raised your hand to ask a question because otherwise
Yeah.
I'd have no other way of knowing this.
Yeah,
Uh,
I have
so I'm
not
thinking about
shaved
this.
my arms. Like, and like if they start to like get there, like I'm like, oh god, I need to shave. Like fucking, it's like a big thing. So
No, do you ever get like ingrown hairs in there?
No, never had ingrown hairs there ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I shower right afterwards. But it's just the easiest place. Shave my chest too.
No, see,
Usually I do the same thing. It's like,
I got a story on that one.
if I don't
You
shave
shaving
my
your chest?
No,
What's left of the shears?
No, not.
I shave my stomach, I just leave like a nice little happy trail down there. Like I still do those
don't wanna
things.
know what
I've
it's
done
called.
that shit since high school. Still
Well, that's what happened.
shave my nut. I don't shave my ass. If I could reach my own ass, I would shave my own ass. But I don't shave my ass. It's but
Not,
once
not
again,
even like in just with the trimmers or anything.
It's
Just-
it's just too difficult
I
to
just
like
imagine cutting
act,
your
like
ass
I can
crack.
shave my ass cheeks, but then I'm gonna have a fucking
mohawk.
asshole fucking landing strip,
Yeah.
dude. Like that's not a fucking bueno, dude.
Ask the wife to help
I don't
you.
care who. I don't want my wife that close to my asshole. Okay, the shit that comes out of there, legitimately, I don't want my wife anywhere next to it. But
valid.
but if you have ass hair, you definitely have dingleberries. So it's like a fucking catch-22, bro. Sometimes you just gotta try and fucking do your best and fucking cut the hedges down. But so mani pedis, shaving fucking hair, those are definitely things that have
Yeah,
changed.
changed 100%.
I think the amount of frequency that guys get haircuts has definitely changed too. Like
Do you think it's up?
I think
You think
I
it's
think
down?
so. I think it's up, but maybe not because kids today grow their hair to look like
Yeah,
a fucking chia
mops.
pet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get it at all.
No, that's some girls I've talked to said they like a guy with long hair, and I'm like, well, I like it short. Short is easy. Wash. It looks better on a lot of guys.
I mean, I think there's a preference thing there, and it's
Yeah.
also depending. I mean, you look at somebody like a like a Jason Momoa with as
beautiful,
Aquaman,
just perfect hair,
Yeah.
just flowing in the breeze.
like
Yeah.
And then I try and picture. Well, I mean, I used to keep some wigs in the car, like just like on surveillance, and you got to disguise yourself and stuff, like So I have. I mean, you guys have seen some pictures, some of my funny ones, but I don't know about me with long hair. Well, first of all, my hair comes in pretty naturally, like fro-y, like so it's just not.
I don't even know what you would look like with long hair. That'd be pretty funny.
I just the longest hair I've had probably down to here, and I had to cut it.
I've gone through stages. Freshman year, I actually had my hair in braids, like down to like here.
Did you really?
Yeah, yep.
Oh.
My sister spent like all night fucking putting it in braids. It was fucking ridiculous. And then I had to shave it off to make weight for a wrestling pound. So I remember I had 0.8
pound.
0.8 ounces actually is what I needed for a regional wrestling match my freshman year.
That's hilarious.
So I shaved it all off. My dad didn't even recognize me. And then after that, I went bald for about 4 months. I bicked it, so then everybody gave me the nickname McCue Ball.
That's good.
Or Powder.
Yeah, powder. Oh my god, that was that was a good.
And then after that, I went in the military, so I had high and tight, like 1 inch on top, fucking skin fade on the side. I literally rocked that for really until I turned like 32. And my wife thought, when I first met her, she thought it'd be cool if I had a mohawk. And at that point, I didn't have a job. I took like 6 months off. So I was like, fuck it, I'll grow it out. Had a mohawk for about 6 months while I was playing semi-pro football. And then went back to the high and tight. And then just recently, I've been growing it out for the last 6 months. But I'm like literally, it's funny because everyone's like, dude, you're at the point where your hair is starting to look great. It's starting to like go back and flow nicely. And I'm at the point where it's like, I'm ready to just go back to my high and tight.
High and tight?
Yeah.
There's different haircuts now. There's so many different styles. Like
the big one now is like a whole bunch of hair on top that they like comb forward and just, I don't even know what. Like it's all the high school kids are doing it. It's
broccoli.
Like, yeah, not my fave.
It's a mix of broccoli and asparagus, I think. I realized I could have airdropped it to you, but if you pull up your text messages, you'll see one of me with long hair there.
Oh wow! Look at David. Let's see.
Wow, that was a young David.
Hold on a second.
Right
my mouse is.
And I got another one a little more recently here.
See, I was bald multiple times in high school, and
there's David with long hair. Dude, that looks just like you, dude. Yep. I could tell that's David. He's got the same smile today.
Can you really?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the beard's kind of disguising the smile, but you have the same smile.
So, Cowboys, really? You liked the Cowboys your whole life, I'm guessing?
Dude, if you're a kid and you didn't have a picture next to a horse or a pony with a cowboy hat, where did you grow up?
Parma.
Not the Mojave Desert, that's for sure.
Right. Well, yeah, what's kind of funny about that is that picture right there.
Yeah.
Redondo Beach, California.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's grass on the ground.
Awesome.
Amazing.
All right, here's one a little bit more recently with me with hair, but here we go.
Speaking of, if you like long hair, you can like and subscribe to the podcast. That'd be awesome. Oh, you airdropped that one.
Yeah, it actually did.
Accept, open.
Uh-oh.
A little more recent with with
hair.
hair.
Look at that wig.
No, it's not a wig. That's legit hair right there.
Oh my Lord.
Who likes short shorts?
No, we need Sean for that one.
So much of my power is kept in my thighs, as you can see.
All right, so let's go into a little bit more. What about we could hair, beard, and skin care.
Mm-hmm.
Evan, do you put any color in your beard?
No. Fuck no. No,
I don't, but I have thought about it quite a few times.
Why?
Like, why would I want to? Just because I want it to have a cleaner look, and like the light hairs kind of like don't allow it to edge up that well. But if you color it, then the edges look super sharp.
Yeah.
So I know you do. You actually came on here 3 weeks ago without coloring it. What made you first decide to start coloring it?
So, man, it's fun. What were the three options? We're rewinding back to the very beginning. What are the three options? Well, why do we do any of this stuff?
Was it for yourself, perception, or spouse or relationship?
Okay. So if I followed what I'm being told is far more attractive, leave it alone. Don't put any color in it at all. I mean, even right now, like I have a little bit of gray coming through. Like this is how I prefer it be. I would love for it to be a nice little blend of salt and pepper.
Right.
And like, so I had sent a snap to someone earlier who then, you know, sent a very good response back and said, leave it the fuck like that. Stop. Don't do anything else. Like, but so that's been the feedback.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I guess in this regard, I would probably be doing this, not necessarily for myself, but the one thing that I noticed, okay, I have 4, I somehow, as you saw from my, you know, picture as a kid, I was born blonde.
Okay.
I would say probably about 10 years after that photo was taken, my hair went to brunette.
Dude,
And-
same thing happened to me. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
It
and-
must be like leaving the California sun or something. I don't know. But
Well, I was still very much living in it. I mean, I was still living at the beach, but it just, you know, it just somehow when I started, you know, cutting it shorter, not looking like a girl. But it's wild to see me with long blonde hair because everybody's known me, you know, from puberty on. It's been, you know,
Short.
he has armpit hairs, unlike my good friend Will here. No, but so once I started going shorter, just straight brunette, and it wasn't even light brown, it was dark brown. But anyway, I somehow when I first, you know, and I'm 2 years into growing facial hair. I just never had it before, like
yeah, it's
career
funny you
wise.
say that because now I can't picture without it, but I can think back of like when I first met you, like you never had facial
Clean
hair.
shave always. Yeah, I mean, I maybe, you know, if I was off like from work, you know, I may have like 3 or 4 days worth of scruff or something, but yeah, it's always clean shave. But so when I first started growing it out, and it's sort of the same now, I'm rather attached to it. Like I just want to keep it. But I realized that I have 4 hair colors growing in my face up here. Like
Right.
obviously gray, but
A little
then,
bit of red, a little bit of dark.
Right.
I'm the same way.
I literally have red hair kind of like right here in the soul patch area, and then brown, and then gray, and then blonde was like all right through down. I look like a fucking calico.
I mean, I'm literally the same way. Like if you can't probably see it on screen, but like mine is like 4 different colors.
Yeah. So it didn't really bother me. Like nobody is making fun of me or anything like that. Like it wasn't anything like that. But I noticed obviously podcasting and then, you know, just vlogging and, you know, traveling around. I started looking at my videos and like at different times. So it's a little bit vain from the perspective of, like you said, like edges looked a little funky. So there were a couple of videos early on the Thirsty channel that I looked and it literally looked like patches.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, that looks really bad. Like, so I didn't like how it was showing up in certain lights at certain angles. So then I figured, well, I'll just try adding a little color. The first time I did the color, you know, just for men, fucking sponsor us, you know, we use your shit, you know, get you a little code.
Not me.
Not him. But anyway, first time I tried it, mixed it up, and I was like, okay, this is simple. We'll follow the instructions and everything. And like, but have you ever used it?
I've never used
okay.
it. Yeah.
Evan never used it. So, you know, you mix it up and you have 2 tubes and you mix it up and, you know, you've got like 15 minutes to get it in and then you go wash it out and, you know, you're done. So that's the extent
So like
of it.
you don't have to wait for it after you put it in and then you wash it off immediately, or you have to wait for 50 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, you would want to, I mean, I've never left it. I think the instructions tell you that within 15 minutes, rinse it out. And I think I've probably,
Multiple color options too, right?
you can do whatever you want. You can even dye your hair. You can do your beard blue if you wanted to, Paul Craig. Oh, he doesn't grow a beard. Never mind. Nope. Anyway, we're not going to, he's not watching this. He doesn't even speak English. What are we talking about? All right. Anyway, so, the first time I did it, I went with, you know, my hair's always been dark brown. And so, well, apparently dark brown is like, we're talking like dark brown, like the first time, like, so I did that and I'm like, you know, very careful. Like I'm like painting, you know, it has a little brush in there and you're painting it on and all that stuff. And like, and I'm like looking and it's like, okay, it looks like it's pretty well covered. And, you know, you got to be careful because if you get it on your skin, it will stain your skin and then you're going to have to scrub your skin to get it off of there. But so I'm doing that and it's like, and when you mix the color, it's not brown. It's like a taupe color. Okay. So, And then obviously once it starts to,
Adhere to the hair. Or whatever.
yeah, whatever that process is where it converts to color and attaches itself to your hair, bonds or whatever. But anyway, so, all right, great. We're done here. So jump in the shower. Now, I did not whack it that day. When I do whack it, it's not in the shower, since we were talking about whacking it earlier. But, but I really feel like, my best results are getting in the shower, and despite your other, rinse this first and get that out of there, because the more, anyway, so I came out, I had to do the thing like, I have my shower, and then you come out the shower and the mirror is like a round, like a bend. So I'm like doing this thing like this to like come around the corner.
You're doing like an unveil to yourself, like a reveal.
Yep. So I do that, and I kind of look around, and at first, it's like slow motion, like here comes the eyebrows, and the eyebrows are reasonable, and then comes the face, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? And it's like I like overcolored, so I'm like in there then I got to get some of this out of there, and it was fucked up the first time. So, but
good to know.
Anyway, so yeah, for me, I wish I could have,
now it's black, right?
Now?
Yeah, when you do it, is it black? Or
No, I went with
the
medium light brown shade. So I went from dark brown down to medium, but it's still
dark. Because when you first do it, like it comes out
pretty dark.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah, if they have a color that's pretty similar to yours, and I thought, well, that may work if they had, and I know there's a few different other options that they have out there, but I don't know. I'm kind of playing with it. Like the one episode we did, I went back and I was looking at it. It's like, that's kind of the color like I would like to keep. It's just, like I said, the first time when I was first growing the beard out, it's just these weird angles and things were it just didn't line up. I can't do, my brother Brandon is got the Marine Corps Special Operators beard special, like, just, full
great beard. Yeah.
He's like all over the place, and it's like, yeah, I can't even get to that level right there.
Well, like, even my level right now it gets shaggy. Like, I'm not one of those guys that can, like, I mean, I guess I've had it longer. And I've used like a heated brush to like comb it out and straighten out. Mine just does not like physically want to go straight.
Yeah.
And it just starts to itch. I'm at that itch stage right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, do you get to grow it out further, or are you going to cut it? Like, you need to make a decision this next couple of times.
Yeah, so this is right here, like, this is like my preferred, like, I like it there. I don't necessarily have to have it perfectly chiseled and everything, but I just can't do, it just gets to a point, like you said, it gets to a level where then it becomes itchy and everything. It's like, it's like, then I'm putting shit in it to try and condition it and do all these things. And
see, that's part of that self-care. It takes a little bit longer to get yourself squared away. So it's like, you have to make those decisions. Like, all right, do I just get a beard trim once a week instead of twice a month or whatever? And if I'm going to do that, am I going to grow it out? Am I not going to grow it out? Like, those are just those decisions you have to make.
And I'm like every 2 to 3 weeks. I can't really do more than 3 weeks, but no less than every other week. It needs a trim.
Yeah.
And I sort of follow the same thing with the color is kind of in that as well.
What about you, Evan? No beard color, obviously. How often do you I love when you shave your beard, though.
I'm going to be shaving my beard soon again.
Uh-oh. Job interview?
No. Just, I like to grow it out to a certain length, keep it like that for a week or two, and then shave it. And
just fuck with everybody because they're like, why did you do
that?
Yeah,
why'd you do that? Who did it? I'm going to have to, I've done some research. I'm going to probably shave it when I go to Japan, because supposedly the Japanese people do not like beards.
What?
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a second.
I don't believe that for a second at all.
Yeah.
Is it because you don't want to have too much sex while you're there?
No, it's opposite. Believe it or not, I'll send you videos. This opposite. If you
I don't need any videos of you having sex. First of all,
definitely.
So let me ask you this: is self-care kind of an example of discipline, though? Too, then.
Correct. It is.
Well, absolutely. I feel.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, obviously we are kind of delving into like physical self-care here, but like you talked a little bit more about, habits and decisions and stuff like that. And Evan sort of touched on it in terms of like using the gym to, help your mental fitness. Like, I think this is the one area that men need the most help.
Is what?
Mental.
The mental aspect of self-care.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. Like, it's just interesting. I think it's just because
I like going to the gym. I know some men that do opposite. I have a friend that plays video games as a mental release. He just sits on his computer, plays.
But is it a mental release because you're zoning out, or is it
It's-
a mental release because I mean, there's
And then I have
different
a-
ways.
And then I have a friend that goes to the shooting range at least 2 or 3 times a week. He
Oh, I
spends
got
hundreds of dollars a week on just rounds. And
I got
just-
some things that are going to blow your guys' minds on this subject right here. By the way,
On what, the shooting range or things-
zoning out aspect of this
mundane
actually.
aspect. No, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear that point of it because when I look at like even just daily routines, like if you're talking about somebody who goes and gets a manicure and a pedicure, let's say every 2 weeks, and they get their hair cut every 10 days, like, and that's something that they consistently do. If they color their beard every 2 weeks and they get their beard trim, like those are in some way acts of discipline. Like you have to discipline yourself to schedule around that, to be prepared, like to make it happen, etc. And yeah, of course, there's habits as well. If you're trying to not masturbate, or if you're trying not to eat fast food, or you're trying not to, like, those are all discipline. I think just men's health in general is all some kind of form of discipline. You mentioned going to the gym, and that goes back to, okay, well, you're just going to the gym to say you went to the gym, or are you actually going there? What level are you on when you're there? Are you working out at a level 10? Or are you working out at a level 2? If you're working at a level 2, are you also spending time on your phone, doing Snapchat, watching TikTok, Instagrams, etc.? Or are you just there working out, taking a 1-minute break, getting to the next set, and really disciplining yourself to that regiment to get an actual plan of action and a result out of it? So I'd say that, yeah, discipline's probably the major part of your self-care. And I think what happens is those with either low discipline or those who are fighting some kind of mental struggle, whether it be, not a happy relationship or personal with the relationship with themselves, lack of friends, lack of support, lack of driven goal, focus, work, whatever, then I think those discipline lapses start to fade as your mental health starts to fade. And that goes back to like, okay, what's going to kick you into gear? Is it going to be somebody telling you that they're going to leave you if you're in a relationship? Is it going to be your job saying they're going to fire you if you're not reaching that level? Is it you look in the mirror one day and you're like, holy shit, these pants don't fit anymore? What's going to force you into that reset and get you back on track so you can rediscipline yourself to get focused, to fix these things, and then get your mental health and everything else back on track? And whether that's because you're in a relationship now, whether you're single and you want to be in a relationship, or if you just want to just be able to do things, whatever the case might be, there's definitely a key element to that is going to be discipline.
Yeah, I think
and real quick, I don't mean to cut you off because you're about to answer, but that all goes into everything too. Like, you and I are trying to create content, podcasts, things like that. That goes into disciplining yourself to make that content, to then edit that content, to post that content correctly, and not get stuck in the meantime of, while I'm posting it, I end up watching a movie, or I end up watching TikTok, and then go, like, I'm doing research on something, and now I'm off on a fucking hour-long tangent. My 15-minute task took me an hour and a half, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
so let's get psychological here for just a moment, but we'll keep it extremely simple. And 20 years ago-ish, we may have a conversation about habits and all these things and say, and I'm drawing upon freshman year psychology. I do not have a psychology degree, but everyone in college has to take at least a semester of psychology. I took 3/4 of it, so I'm digging way deep here. But so there's this very basic principle. It's called the pleasure principle. Very basic psychology, and it's human behavior. You do things for one of two different reasons. One or two fundamental reasons. You're either doing these things to gain pleasure or avoid pain. So if you just imagine life for just a second through both of those lenses, right? Why do you make your car payment? Well, this doesn't feel fun. It's not fun to, spend money on my car payment, but we're avoiding pain, right? Because if I don't pay the car, they're going to come take the car, and then I don't have a car. All right, that sucks. All right. So then, okay. But then why would I spend, $200 on dinner and drinks? Well, because then I, took my significant other out. We went out, we had a blast. We did this, we did that. You gain pleasure from it, right? So 20 years ago, we could probably look at everything and just put it into A or B category there of everything that every person is doing out there. What's the most powerful drug?
I know what you're gonna say. I'm trying to draw a blank, but
Dopamine.
The dopamine. Thank you. The
Yeah.
shot that you get. Right.
Right. So in today's R word world, R word, we can't say
Yeah.
it rhymes with regarded. In today's regarded world, rhymes with regarded world. That's the one word I'm worried about the algorithm
Yeah, I was
picking
gonna
up
say,
right
right,
out
yeah.
of all the
Yeah.
other stuff we said about gays and stuff, whatever. Sorry. But anyway, so in our world, you know, we're now, you know, everything is kind of looked at through that dopamine lens, like
well,
all the things
all your
we're doing.
studies are based around that dopamine hit, right? Like,
Yeah. Well,
businesses are built around.
That's what I'm saying is that ever since, Tristan Harris, I think his last name, the guy from,
Facebook.
Well, he was the Google engineer who
Right.
he's the one who decided that Gmail should have a like button on your emails. Like that's what started like in social media.
Mm-hmm.
Harris, I think his last name is Harris, Tristan Harris. We can look that up. But when they made that discovery, that, you know, then of course set us on the course of how Facebook works and Instagram works and everything else out there works, is that, oh, well, we can trigger dopamine by this one thing. Like, oh, they liked my email. Hey, great. Oh, they liked my bikini photo. Great. Well, not mine, but, you know, somebody else. But anyway, so, you know, that has set us on this other course to where, you know, now whether we want to or we don't, like, this is just the course we're on. The whole tangent I went into in that whole neighborhood in China is that, you know, somebody, the CCP in that case, made the decision, we're doing this. Like, you're going to participate. And, you know, now they arrest you if you're trying to live on that mountainside, by the way. Like, yeah, they go and they just remove you, and they don't put you in prison. They then put you down here. And if you end up back there, they just move you further away to where you can't get back there.
Like taking a stray cat.
Yeah, exactly. Taking the cat for a ride and like, here's your new home. But so, you know, that's the world that we're operating in now is, you know, chasing, you know, dopamine hits. And you may not live your life this way, or you may, you know, you may throttle yourself so that you're not as exposed. Like, you know, you minimize your screen times and you know, try and spend more times, you know, doing stuff like this, sitting down and just talking, you know, whatever it is. Although we do need the dopamine hits. So hit the like button, give us some comments, tell us we're full of shit.
Little subscribe, all that
Come
good
on.
stuff. Well, how are you getting your dopamine? Let us know.
Yeah, there we go. But so this, you know, and again, complete amateur behavioral scientist here, self-proclaimed in that, you know, you have to consider
Self-taught even.
I mean, again, I had one semester in college of psychology, you know, and just kind of paying attention to things out there. But yeah, even in my own decision making, you know, I'm still going to make the decisions for the things I want to do. But, you know, afterwards I may look at that and think, okay, you know, does that really benefit me, or did I just, you know, is that just, you know, the dopamine hit and then, you know, on to the next, like, I'll talk a little bit about, like, you know, this through the lens of law enforcement, and, you know, and this will kind of, I think, frame up the more mental side of this that I think people need to take a lot more serious. Not just people working as first responders, but like there's a lot, I kind of look at it through like, well, if it worked for me in that regard, it could work for a guy who drives an ambulance, or a guy who drives a trash truck and hates his job, or whatever. Like, you know, I think that's the one area of this that I think men as a whole don't pay enough attention to, because we're designed to be stoic, and we're designed to be, you know, protective and masculine and all these things. And now I know that there's, you know, a blue-haired person out there that's saying, oh, that's toxic. You know, no, you know, men aren't supposed to be that way anymore. Men are supposed to get mani-pedis, and men are supposed to do this, and men are supposed to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Shave their armpit hair.
Damn it! I could. He had to take that away because, damn it, I didn't even think of that. But yeah, I mean, we're in it. It's funny. We were talking about, you know, things, you know, 40 years ago or so. Somebody asked me the other day, they just happened to notice that I have what's left of a piercing in my left ear over
I
here.
got one of those too. Two of them, actually.
Yeah. So somebody spotted that the other day and looked real closely, like, holy shit, you have your ear pierced? And I was like, well, I was taking psychology my freshman year of college, and the girl I was dating worked at Claire's Boutique, and she's like, oh, you would look so fucking sexy with an earring. And I was like, oh, dopamine rush. Here we go. So I clicked her like button, whatever that means in the 90s. No, but so I ran off, got my ear pierced. But so, back then you could do your left ear. You could not do your right ear because that meant both. You were gay. You cannot have both. And then, I think 2 years.
All I can picture when you say that is I just remember photos of, for some reason, somebody in like a pop magazine, like in a high school teenage boy or something was famous or whatever, having a lightning bolt in each ear. And then being like,
your boyfriend gave those to you.
Yeah. So funny.
Yeah. Which
now I can't tell what's gay and what's not gay.
That's just it. Well, so
for those who are gay and you think that conservatives hate gay people or they hate, we really can tell. I mean, unless you make it blatantly obvious and don't really care.
Yeah. Well, we do have conservative gay friends, by the way.
Very both.
And great people, and we're not talking
Is
about
that like when you
closet.
say I have black friends, like if you make a joke about being gay, so then you have to be like I have gay friends,
and I have a retarded friend, so I'm allowed to use that word too. By the way,
he's right here. Don't say it out loud.
My bad.
Look, he's over there right now getting dopamine hits. Like this conversation was not enough of a dopamine hit that he had to go to his computer and start scrolling Instagram and hitting like. Yeah. It's interesting when you talk about dopamine hits in the 90s or 80s, like the comparison to what it is now. And it's funny because sometimes I don't even think I'm getting myself a dopamine hit. Like, yeah, it's great when I go on there and I see like a video's doing well because it's like, sweet, we did a good video. That's awesome.
A dopamine hit.
Again.
Yeah.
But then why do I scroll? I call it doom scroll. Why do I doom scroll for hours? Right. I'm not getting a dopamine hit off of other people's content. Like do you know what I mean? So it's interesting that goes into those habits. I think that's a negative mental impact. Right. Like when you do those are things that are not giving you any benefit. You're just seeing what's better out there. My daughter just talked about today. She's like, I'm 17. I'm not going to be a level 6 cheerleader. I shouldn't even go to tumbling anymore. It's like, well, yeah, sure you can. Stop comparing yourself to a level 6. You could be a great level 4. You know what I mean? Whatever. So it's interesting. Like that is really what social media does to us. And then, you mentioned the like button. Well, now if you hit the like button or if you just watch the entire video, that just changes your algorithm.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So let's say somebody's watching this show right now and they're like, oh, should I be shaving my armpits? Like, Will, is that the right thing to do? So then they start looking at people shaving their armpits and they see the first video and it comes up, shaving your armpits is gay. And then that automatically means the next one's going to be like, women hate it when you shave your armpits. So now you're going to be like, well, fuck. Will said it's cool. I want to be like Will. But all these videos are telling me that it's not cool and it's gay, and now you're confused. You don't know what to fucking do. And
Will's gay? Hold on a second here.
But no, I mean, I talk to my wife about it all the time because, like, especially, God forbid, should you fucking search anything to do with a relationship. I can promise you the worst possible outcome is what you will be fed, and then your algorithm will forever switch to... Yes, if your husband likes to hang out with his friends and do things without you, that means that he hates you and he wants a divorce and you're never going to be happy ever again.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, that's what the algorithm will tell you. Meanwhile, it's like, no, I just want to go shoot the shit with my buddies. Like, I'll see you when I get home. Can't wait to get home. I'll miss you.
Right.
like it's just, but that's what the algorithm does. And I feel like it does that more so against men, which then creates these negative images we have of each other or these relationships, which then, I'll say from my experience, you don't love me, you don't care as much because you want to spend time with this person, you want to go do this, and I'm not as important. And it's like, well, fuck, like what's wrong? Like, do I have to do that? Like, and then resets the whole thing. And I think that happens with work. Like you could be doing really successful and then, right, Evan, they're trying to switch your route. They keep asking you. It's like, well, fuck, am I not doing a good enough job on this route? Like, man, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Maybe they're trying to get me out of this job. Maybe they want to fire me and they like, whatever, like, you can go off into these tangents mentally, and it's a struggle.
September 11th, I know where you were. I was in bed and woken up just before the second plane hit the towers. And then right after that, my beeper went off.
So cool.
Had the beeper.
Hit.
Yeah, didn't have the code on there, but it, it was work, and like, okay, all right, being called into work. And but I remember I remember waking up and like, I was looking at the person I was with at the time. She had been up like for an hour, and then she had turned the TV on and woke me up. It's like, oh, look at this, like, plane accidentally hit. And I was like, oh, and then literally as I'm rubbing my eyes, it's like, well, here comes another plane. So I saw on live TV the second plane hit, and that's like, I was already a licensed helicopter pilot for, like 10 years, but at that point. So it's like, okay, that's not an accident. Like, there's no such thing as an accident that happens twice in a row. So it's like, I already knew, like, right from that moment. It's like, okay, beeper goes off, whatever. While I was driving to work, I turned on AM 640 KFI that morning. So that's a big AM radio station out in LA. And my grandfather used to listen to it. This is old people shit. Like, yeah, but so, it was sort of a conditioned response of like, well, shit, when something major happens, you go to the news. And it's the same thing. Like when the first Gulf War broke out, you would go, I didn't go to KFI, but you would go to CNN. Like the Gulf War built CNN, like them as a news network. But anyway, so, something happens, you're conditioned, and you start going, you start looking for information. And then, but that, I realized that I became a KFI listener during 9/11, like after 9/11. And, the content is interesting. Like I still, when I travel, like when I was back out there recently, I'll put it on. Okay, fine, I'm a fucking old guy. I listen to AM radio even today, but I always have to switch that when I know somebody else is going to get in the car. Like, like I switch it out like, oh, I'm driving tomorrow. I better like, put on something cool like WGAR. So, they don't realize, and then hide the screen that shows my favorite AM stations on the screen up there too. No, but so anyway, I realized during that time, like it's not because the sound quality was better, but like, on FM, they're, playing music and entertainment and everything, but on AM is news programming. And, but I guess what I'm getting at is that was, again, prehistoric doom scrolling of, I went looking for information and, or, now it's a combination of information and entertainment if I happen to like who's on during that time. Right. But that was doom scrolling. Like, so that I think that in the whole social media dichotomy, the doom scrolling is a result of the algorithm is all of the social media platforms make more money the more time our eyeballs are locked in. So there's other things at play, and it's a slot machine. That's another way to think of it. It's a slot machine. Like, why do people go and put, it used to be fun for penny slots or quarter slots, but you have $25 a roll, on high limit slots and everything.
$100 a roll.
$100 a roll. So, you're sitting there and, stupid music
making
is going.
Noises. You go, you win 8 cents. You're like, but
spin. Did I get the Wheel of Fortune? Did I get the spin? Oh, didn't get the spin.
That's why they came out with those secondary games where then like you would get extra rolls and it would roll on like 10 different things.
That's what I'm saying.
Keeping you hummed in.
That's just it. And so, and that's the same. That's the same sort of triggers there in your dopamine. Is that so? Doom scrolling is very much the same thing. You should. We don't have to do this, but just real quickly, I watched a news clip the other day. Friend of a friend who works for Riverside Sheriff's Office was on the live fucking news 4 nights ago. He's a SWAT operator. News copter was above. They had a pursuit that ended. Car crash. Guy was in a Bentley, crashed through a wall. Got Bearcat out there, SWAT and everything. The helicopter's up above, and they're communicating. Dude's got a gun in the car, and this whole big old thing going on and all that stuff. The news copter up there with their 8K fucking super zoom, they fucking zoom down in. He's on fucking Tinder. They literally in the middle of a fucking standoff out there.
Oh my god!
And they look down. It's like, oh well, this guy's on his phone, and it's all over fucking internet now.
Sure,
like,
dude.
but yeah, he's like, I think he's actually on a dating profile or something. He's literally, you're sitting here watching him swiping. I was like, dude, you're so fucking, well, maybe not fired, but you're going to be,
You're definitely going to have
you're
some
back
issues.
you're back to cutting tickets, dude. You're out of there. But
Jesus.
anyway, so all of these things are all designed to keep us, locked in. It's for that potential. It's the same thing as a slot machine. Like, oh, there goes $10, $20, $30, $100. Fuck. I was watching the fights last night, and up pops all the ads for all the, the betting apps and everything. And so two of my friends that were with me were both like, oh, you buy in with $10 and like you get a bonus $200, and that's like, this is how it starts.
Yeah, they know you're not going to stop at 200.
No, you're not. Like, it was funny is that someone won, and she's like, oh, well, I'm going to cash this out, and then she's trying to cash it out after it's done. She can't. There's like, it won't link to her bank account. It's like, they're not letting you out that easy. Like, oh, it says it's just errors right now, probably because they're busy. I was like, yeah, no, you're gonna. Then up pops the thing. Oh, you could parlay that now over here.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Again, everything is designed to chase.
Well, it's all there to get you just attracted to something a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So let's go into a couple other things before we wrap up tonight's episode. So I've got two other extras. How much does physical fitness relate to it as far as a man's physical discipline? Like, do men let themselves go, you think, when they get comfortable, and are they weaker today than previous generations? And then finally, is some kind of fitness level required in order to be respected?
Interesting. What do you think, Kevin?
First thing, yes, I think men are a lot of men today are a lot weaker.
Okay.
And yes, I think there should be a certain level, not 100%, but a certain level of ability, like exercise. Like, you see these videos of.
So let me ask you this, as and I don't mean this is negative, but you're a little overweight, right? So do you feel that you lose or gain respect when you walk into a room and meet either other men or even women? Like, do you think your physical appearance affects that at all?
It depends on the room I'm going into.
Yeah.
Because if it's a man that's more overweight than I am, or men that are more in shape, that's the reason that keeps me going to the gym, because I see the men that the shape I want to be in. So I keep going to the gym.
Also, Will, round is shape. So there.
Ooh.
Well, I asked that because
me.
like, I don't consider. I feel like I'm in a shape.
Yeah.
But I'm very I'm very hard on myself right now as far as the way I look now, even versus a year ago. I just had this conversation with some friends at dinner last night, and I do believe that walking into a room, your statue is really a big part of how you're initially respected or responded to.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you right now, I've been in meetings with leadership where, someone comes in a couple 100 pounds overweight, the whole overlap their front belt and side belt, and their pants don't fit, or they look like they got a vagina because they got so much meat chucked into their fucking, you know what I mean? And
Easy
it's
now. Evan's getting turned
I
on.
immediately have a very difficult time hearing anything they say, and to myself, I'm just like, whatever, dude. And they might be a very successful business person. They might have had a good career, but for whatever reason, when I see them, all I say is, dude, you can't even get yourself up and get out of bed in the morning to go like take care of your body.
And I was watching this interview a few months ago, and this guy walked around a gym, and he went to a really powerhouse gym. He's like, he went around, he's like, how many hours do you work, and do you go to how often do you go to the gym? And he went around to all the big guys, and he's like, I work 12-hour days at the hospital, but I always go to the gym for at least 1 hour every other day. And he went around, and all the guys you saw that were not like motivated, they're like, they went to the gym maybe once every 3 to 4 days for an hour and stuff. And
well, people have different bodies too. So,
yeah.
The amount of time you spend at the gym, for somebody else that, has, different, metabolism or different sort of regimen, diets, whatever, could have a completely different outcome than what you have. Like, just,
I could grow 6 inches right now and have a 6-pack. It'd be great. But I'm not going to grow 6 inches, so that means I'm going to have to actually work and diet if I wanted to do that. Who wants to do that? Like, everybody loves food. Like,
here's so I man, there's I'm trying to figure out how we could do this without going on for another 2 hours here, but like, because I have a couple different feelings about that, in that there are certain people that regardless of how they look, for example, I mean, you can have somebody like that's financially, Trump is an easy example, like to forget President Trump, like go back to just, when he was, CEO, real estate developer guy, like, he's just gotten older and he's enjoyed, McDonald's every other day. Like,
Warren Buffett does McDonald's every morning.
Yeah, well, I'd say physically he's a little bit slightly better of a specimen than Trump, maybe slightly, not by much, but like, you look at Trump when he was in his 30s and 40s, it's like, okay, well, but dude had different, now of course he's got the resources. He could jab himself up with tests and whatever. He can make himself, look 20 years younger if he wanted to. He doesn't want to, but you look at somebody like that, he doesn't have great posture, but he's got a track record behind him. Again, forget about the president, just like go back to CEO, business guy, like, he was a billionaire before he got in, and that guy could walk into any room because he's got, the confidence. Now, he can't walk into a room and lecture people on, how to work out and exercise. Like, he's not.
No, but he can walk into a room and you respect him because of everything that he's done. He's
right.
But he's also still 6'6" or whatever it is.
6'3".
6'3". He's still one of the taller men in the room. He's not in the epitome of great shape, but if you compare him next to Joe Biden, they're like the same height.
Yeah.
And they both walked into the room.
Yeah, one's gonna.
One, I'd be like, bro,
they
they just built the nursing home right up the street. They must have missed a turn. It's back there about a mile. The other one, I'd be like, oh, what do you have to say? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That plays a part. There's other things that play into a part of it, but
now
you personally lost a bunch of weight. So, I mean, did you notice the way that people talked to you or looked at you or met you or whatever?
Yeah.
And when that happened?
Yeah. So. Yeah, if I go back to looking at, it was early 2000s. I mean, I dumped like 74 pounds, which was fast food and sodas and working nights and just being shitty, and really just changing diet and bringing in just kind of some daily exercise, just like, again, if I had the, goals of putting on muscle mass and everything like that, I'm sure, I could figure it out one way or the other. Right. Like, did it affect things? I guess, to a certain extent, just the level and confidence. Like, I was already confident, and then I'd say I probably went to like a state of arrogance, I think, at that point. So, but really, when it comes down to it, regardless of, I didn't care how I looked. I cared about how I felt, and it was sort of like the same thing. Like at one point, I was chasing the pounds on the scale, kind of like watching that as like my measurement. But then when I realized that I went from like a size 42 pant down to like a 30, I was even down to like a 32 at one point. Like I wear a 34 now, and I'm pretty comfortable at that. Like, but. Yeah, looking at, those things, but just, waking up in the morning with energy and just feeling great and being able to, want to get out and do stuff, like that was where the biggest difference is. Now, that also plateaus, and that'll kind of go into the thing that I think we can finish up with here, as when we
pertain to physical,
when we decide was, your physical and your level, because then again, certain things happen in your life, things will start changing, relationship change or job change or whatever it is. You're living, things just change. And so, you're going to have different habits. Now we have this thing where we're chasing dopamine more regularly. What was it like chasing dopamine in, the 90s and the 2000s? Well, when we were younger, we had to go hop on our bicycle and go pedal our ass over somewhere. And then we started driving, we'd drive somewhere, but like, the thrills that, we would get, the thrills that we can get now by like looking at content or seeing videos blow up and feeling good about different things and all that stuff. That sort of looks like, and we us personally are a little more old school with that. Like we have the ability to go travel out of the country and go do some things. And like, that's, the biggest rush is being able to see all that, like not just look at it on a video or, post the video and have somebody like it. Like that's completely secondary because we've been there. We've done that. Right. But the habits, and I think, and how what we as men, what I think men forget to do is to think about the mental impact of that. Like gym rats, I'm calling you a gym rat. I wouldn't actually call you a gym rat actually, but I would say, you know, some of the people we know, definitely gym rats, like their entire lives are built around the gym, full stop right there. Like they're going to spend that 3 to 4 hours a day, and they've very specifically, they're measuring before, they're measuring after. There's pictures before, there's pictures after. The people that they're either married to or dating or whatever are in that lifestyle, and not, they're going to do,
or they're not in that lifestyle, and there's like separating from each other because they're mentally just not on the same. I mean, some I'm sure there's some couples out there where one could be completely dedicated to what you're talking about, the measurements, the bodybuilding, the other, and the other one's not, and they do well. But for the most part, that's a tough, that's an extreme difference, right? So like, oh, you want to go eat Mexican food? Sorry, I'm eating chicken and rice, and you know, right?
Yeah.
My wife has said it all the time. Anytime that I really want to go on a strict diet, she's like, well, what am I going to do for dinner? And then it's like, okay, well, do I be selfish and like I need to do this because of me, and you figure out what you want to do for you, or do you be the husband who says, all right, I'll just eat what you're eating? And that's a tough dynamic on that aspect.
The whatchamacallit, fuck it, their name just came out of my mind last from the fights last night. But the main fight, the fight was over in that homeboy blew out his knee, and the guy who was fighting just kind of took a step back and was like, okay, tell you what, he actually stopped and he pointed to the ground, like, stand right here, we'll just fight. Like he could have finished him and it would have just been done. And so they started fighting. He caught him with a left hook, knocked him out cold. Like, you know, it was that sympathy. It's like, is that human emotion of, you know, I'm just going to apply some sympathy here. Cause like literally, and they showed it in the replay, like several times, like you watched him tear his knee apart right there, like carried him. They, you know, had to evac him out and everything like that. But that level of sympathy right there, like, you know, boom, cost him the fight. Like, okay, so fight versus, you know, real life. But this is how we are. Like, you know, we're empathetic, especially with, you know, our spouse. We should absolutely be empathetic and think about that. Mm-hmm. The people that I have in mind, they would care more about the results and those other things. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. This is what I've decided to do. You know, husband or wife, like, and they care more about that. They'll make their decisions based off that. Like, so that's when I'm talking about this particular type of person where they've already made up their mind. They're going to do it regardless. You could argue that those people, maybe they don't have a healthy relationship in the first place. Sure, that's, I mean, who knows? It's possible, right?
I mean, there's no way to tell what's healthy and what's not from the outside, because obviously everybody puts kind of a facade on their relationship, or maybe they don't, maybe they do. There's no way to tell. Yeah, right? You can hide so much. Like you could, Facebook's like the highlight reel. Like, let me show you all the 25 greatest plays of my football career or my marriage or whatever, my job, versus the lowlights. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. You see the LinkedIn post, like, oh, just had my biggest month ever. Well, it doesn't show you where like 8 months in a row you didn't hit quota and you were fucking eating, you know, spam every night for dinner, like whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Most people want to show the highlight as opposed to the struggle to that point.
And once again, that's your own dopamine. You want to get those likes.
Well, so then now it's a matter of, so the reason why I kind of went through that is that, so it's like anything else, there's a balance there. Like, it's one thing to want to feel physically great and have that drive, you know, positive mental health results for yourself. Like, you'll feel better, you'll sleep better, you'll have better friendships, better relationships, etc. But I think there's a breaking point there as well, where then that becomes, you know, an obsession at that point. And it's like, I get a little bit turned off. I mean, we've had bodybuilders on, we've had, you know, potential people want to be on and everything. I personally, just because I kind of look at it through that lens of like, okay, are they selling a product? Is that what they're really after? Is that what's driving them? Otherwise, like, again, 1 semester of college of psychology, so I'm not, you know, a psychotherapist at all, but I kind of look at that. And I would say the same thing about, say, people that are getting tons of plastic surgery, you know, people Botox, like
there's another fucking.
That's a whole different.
There's another maintenance item that's been on the men's list recently.
Right? Yeah, yeah. I've seen dudes get work, you know, done.
Well,
Yeah.
I've seen a guy get calf implants.
Yeah, and pec implants and
I'm
butt
like,
and lipo.
What is going on?
I just saw, this is the funniest thing you said, that I actually just saw a thing today where it was a shirt that had like, it was like a skin tight shirt that you put
it
on
has
underneath your
abs.
regular shirt, and it had like abs and like a little bit of like extra muscle definition.
I mean,
like not a lot, but enough so that if you were wearing a t-shirt over it, it would show.
look. That's funny.
And I was just like, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like,
I was just like,
well,
wow.
so let me ask you this. Like, obviously, and I get what you're saying. Like, it could be an obsession. It could be a habit. And to each their own. It could be a hobby. Like, how much time do you spend creating content on a weekly basis versus going to the gym, right? That's your choice of outlet or desire, hobby. Same thing for me, right? But how much, I guess, let's transition that into when you talk about like diet discipline, sleep habits, etc. How much is things like convenience over control take a part of that, right? Like do we think a lot of that good habits in life have broken down because of convenience? Like, hey, it's easier just to order DoorDash than to eat dinner at home. Like we talked about on 90s night, right? Like a lot of families, like they don't eat together. Their 13-year-old kids are just ordering DoorDash. Like their parents are like, oh, you're hungry? Here,
what video are you watching over there, Evan?
No, I'm just looking at some of these things of men.
Oh,
okay.
a video of
Well,
me.
it's the implants and stuff. I'm just looking at.
He's like, can I get a cock implant? I need some
just
fucking.
looking at-
I need some mental. I need some men's health.
I just saw
I just
something
brought it up
flashing
when,
over
when we
there.
were talking about it. I heard you.
Yeah, we can see what you're doing in the camera. We have a special camera right over there that looks at your screen the whole time, Evan. so
And
you
your
can see what
crotch.
you're doing.
Both
Oh
hands
my
above the
God.
table, Evan.
No, but so like, how much is convenience over control? Like, let's face it, society's gotten a lot more convenient, right?
Yeah.
100%.
It's a lot easier. Like, for instance, going to the movies. Like, going to the movies is an effort, right? You have to like get dressed.
You got to
Drive,
book your tickets ahead
buy
of time
your
now
ticket.
too, right?
Well,
The
there's
assigned
another
seats.
thing, buy your tickets, right?
Yeah.
But you can stream 3 movies from your phone and you're laying in bed until 2:00 in the morning. You know? Or Evan, who scrolls Instagram videos like they're going out of style and then sends everybody a bazillion reels so that when he sends an actual message that might be important, you don't even know because you just tuned it out.
Well, again, I scroll when I have time to burn, or I have what's the
But like, dude, so here's perception. This is you have to be honest with yourself, because I could tell you right now, I scroll. I could say that I scroll when I have time to burn, but I don't ever have time to burn. My schedule is so jam packed. I need more time. So why do I scroll? I don't have time to burn. I'm just.
Yeah.
It's like there, it's in front of me, and I'll waste an hour of my time. There's times I go to the gym, I get up there at 5:30 in the morning, and it's 6:00 before I walk in. I just spent a half hour scrolling, whether it be Twitter for news cycles or sports updates or TikTok to see how my videos are doing or YouTube to see how. So do I really have that time to burn? No.
I'm scrolling for ideas and inspiration because a lot of my videos I'm saved on my Instagram. I'll send you one right now.
No, you don't have to send me anything. But listen, this is something where an individual can only be honest with themselves or lie to themselves, right? So if that's why you say you scroll, that's why you say you scroll. I'm going to tell you right now, that might be how I start, but fucking 20 minutes in, I am not scrolling for the benefits that are to me, of which is doing research for a podcast or something of that nature.
For me, I'm not researching for a podcast. I'm researching on different ways of doing photos, different ways of editing photos, different templates, how to create different templates. I follow a lot of influencers that design different templates and stuff.
Yeah, but so what is you scrolling and seeing it? Like, what are you doing next?
And then I can use that, whatever they put on their thing. Like there's one.
So are you saving it, going back to it later, taking notes, or are you just scrolling and going to the next one, to the next one, and next
No,
one?
I'm saving it. I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is the one I can use for whatever you call it. I can use, like, I'll send you to one of them.
Well, here, I could just look at the last. So that means that the last few videos you've sent me are going to be based off.
The ones I sent you are funny.
Oh, well, so okay, so the ones that you're sending me are funny.
Yes,
but
the
that
ones
means
I'm
that
saving,
you're not just looking at videos that are for.
Only because my friends send me funny ones. I get from Anthony, Sean.
See, you're lying to kick it. You don't have to lie to kick it. It's
true.
okay to admit, David. How many times do you get on the internet to get on? I'm about to say get on the line. On the line.
Oh,
how many times do you get on the line? No, you don't get it. We're gonna take a picture and put it on the line. To share with your friends. Oh, like Instagram? No. This one's different. Instagram, you're online. This one, you're going to get
On
the
the
picture
line.
and put it on the line. Do you guys know what movie that's from?
No,
The Intern. It's where
I've always
yeah.
seen it.
where they
with-
go work for Google.
Google.
Yeah, we were just. It's so funny that I just came up with or started talking about that because last night at dinner, me and my buddy were making the joke where he's like, "I'm going to make this the worst date ever. A moment on the lips, forever on the hips." You know what I mean? It's like, but no. Is there times that you have best intentions? You get online, you're like, "Hey, I need a YouTube video to see how to do this or how to create this," and then before you know it, you watch like 15 shorts, and you're like, "Fuck, I just wasted time."
So no, because
Really?
I don't. I just waste the time doing something else. So yes, but not shorts because I don't really watch shorts.
Okay,
Yeah, not a shorts watcher.
all right. So,
Yeah,
so
Evan's
maybe
wearing
you-
shorts right now.
Yeah,
I'd
I
like
am
to
wearing
point that out.
shorts.
short shorts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you going to the gym later?
No, I have to go home and we keep editing photos.
So do you think control though is and convenience are being like sacrificing one for the other?
Sometimes
That's the way of our world right now for most people. Like we're, as human beings, we're creatures of habit first of all, and then but we're also creatures of efficiency. And so if we find a shortcut, we find an easier way of doing something, we're pre-programmed as human beings to do that. We don't intentionally take the scenic route places unless maybe we're on vacation and we want to go see scenery. We're programmed that way. So the things that are out there that are more convenient, like fast food, for instance, it's all designed to take advantage of that part of our psyche. It's why you get so many kids that, well, of course, now they're obese, but it's, you get all these Happy Meal kids where, it's the reason why the drive-thrus are packed, from 3 o'clock
Isn't that
until
crazy?
Yeah, it's
Like
awful.
I don't remember that ever being the case. It is literally as we have them. I just like to think of the fact that there's 2 fast food lanes in almost every drive.
Oh yeah,
every drive there's 2 lanes
Yeah.
now. It's
Yeah.
like wow.
Yeah.
The convenience of it.
Like you
But-
go into
Yeah.
like if you go into a McDonald's, like there's nobody working the counter. They're like, what are you doing? You just walked 30 feet for nothing.
Where did we went to one? It was when we were in when we were in Belfast.
Oh,
We went. We had, that's the only time I've walked into. It's the only thing I've been anywhere near a McDonald's, and I think I got French fries because it was the only thing that was open. Like,
Yeah.
But even
the first night you guys got there.
yeah, that's right. You weren't with us,
I
but
think we met you up that night, but it was after McDonald's.
it was after that, like right after
me.
that.
It was
but,
me and Nina. That was funny because you say that you found a McDonald's. We couldn't find shit except terrible food that night.
Yeah.
and Nina was about to break down and cry. She's like, "I wanted McDonald's. I would have got
That's
McDonald's."
now I remember the conversation. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we just found it. I didn't want it. Like, I ordered French fries. It's the only thing that I could even bring myself to eat. But like, yeah, even that one, like, yeah, they didn't take orders. They had the kiosk, inside there, right?
Right.
AI taking human
Everybody's
jobs.
going through the drive-through. All right. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but that's our world. Everything, is in terms of, especially in terms of business, everything is, moved toward that level of efficiency.
It's just everybody's becoming a little lazier and I understand the convenience of it. Everybody wants convenience in their life anymore because they think with more convenience, more time in their hands. But when you have more time in your hands, what are you going to be
More
on
time in
your
your
phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't use that convenience the proper way. I try to implement it to make where yes, I do play a lot of some on my phone, but I also try to do research on what kind of photo shoots I need to use, lenses I need to use for my next photo shoot, how I can edit a photo better the next time so it doesn't have more gray or more yellow, the skin color. I look up different ways. I follow different photographers. But again, I try to optimize it. And sometimes when I scroll, because the
Comment and like below if you think Evan is being honest. or lying right now.
honest.
I feel like 70% of your scrolling is probably anime or movie scenes.
Nope,
and then
believe it
there's
or not.
30% of it is.
I
I mean, we
tell
can
you,
find out right now. We can just pull up your Instagram and
It's all-
look.
it's
we
all-
can search right now.
it's all fitness people.
Let
on
me
my
see
Insta-
it.
It's all fitness.
Let me see it.
people.
We're gonna,
What?
Show
we're
me
gonna
the
go live.
receipts.
Show me the receipts. Let me see your phone. Don't give me your work phone. I want both your
Wait,
phones.
he's got to scrub it. Hold on a second here.
it's all Instagram. It's
hold
all
on.
fitness people.
We're gonna
It's-
find out. We're gonna see this right
It's
now.
all it's
Hold on.
photographers.
So the people can see. We're gonna hit search.
It's all
we're gonna
fitness
look.
people. It's all fitness and cameras.
Oh, I'm impressed. Okay.
And then there's some funny ones too.
Uncircumcised cameras. Wait
Let's
a
see
minute.
which Instagram this is, though. This is
My personal one.
That one. Let's look at Evan's snaps. All right, let's look at what that search looks like.
Oh, did you just hit
nothing but like fucking clitoris fucking women. Like, I mean, these women have fucking clits that you could find from fucking 2 miles away.
Can't miss them away.
They got so much testosterone running through their veins, dude.
Oh yeah, there's some.
Congratulations on all their sex. Well, here let's transition this real quick to because we gotta get we've kind of taken up a lot of time in between all these conversations, kind of based.
We're not leaving self-care yet, are we?
No, but I wanted to talk about how much has women's expectations of men changed over the course of time. Like,
yeah, wow, you're psychic, dude.
Well, and in a good, is it good or is it bad? Right? Like, do women speak up more than they used to, and is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Do women have an impression? I can tell you right now, to get personal, in my relationship with my wife, I could count probably 3 or 4 different relationships she's compared ours to, and to make me feel like I don't think it was intentionally to put me down. It was just to say, like, you need to step up your game and be more like this person or like this person because of their relationship. Now, I think in almost every single one of those relationships is found out later that the man in that relationship was cheating on his wife, and I'm completely loyal. So like I get to go, but at the same point in time, like, has women's expectations changed? Not even from the beginning to when they're looking for a man, but then obviously their, I guess, the power of their word in a relationship.
Okay, so stop me if you heard this question before. What's the most powerful drug?
Dopamine.
Oh, that's right.
Damn
Did we
it.
just rewind? Yeah. Well, so I guess the lazy answer to that entire thing, and I'll get unlazy, I promise, but the lazy answer is man, it's all the same stuff we were just talking about there. Like, and I'm not singling out, your wife. I'm not really singling anybody out there at all, but just the world that we're in. Like, I think that's impacted everybody. Like, unless you're living like the Amish, the true Amish,
Sure.
The Schwarzenegger Amish, where you're not online, you're not watching any
Shit, that
television,
women aren't even
nothing.
talking in the Amish community. They're like little Iranian fucking women over there.
Right?
They get
Yeah.
their ass whooped.
Rule of thumb. But I think that, the matrix in which we're living in right now, like, that's absolutely impacted that. And it could change too. It could change day by day. It could change hour by hour. I mean, just, depending on, where you're at in the dopamine cycle per se, and, or, what's important.
Well,
So,
I think that. What do you think on that, Evan? Do you think the women have an impact on this, and their expectations of men have changed over years?
Yes, I mean, literally, I keep seeing this guy go around. Should a man be? What is it? Does a man have to be 6 foot to date? And
Chad.
and then the girl's like, yes. And then he's like, okay, you have to be under 150 pounds for me to date you. A man can't change his height, but a woman can change her weight.
Yeah.
And
You know what? I just saw that video. It's so funny you said that. I literally just saw that video.
And I'm like, it's true. Women have unrealistic, like, they want a guy 6 foot. They want a guy making 6 figures. And there's another guy talking about, like, how many men make 6 figures? It's less than 8% of the population or something like that.
So we've talked a little bit about this before in, like, some of the dating episodes that we've done out there, and I don't disagree with the Chad and Giga Chad.
Hold on a second. I want to like this video.
I love
right
this
You
video.
and I have something in common. You believe in a lot of cases that men and women have roles.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, you say it because people get
you
mad
better
when
believe
I
it.
say
I'm from this. Yeah, you better believe it.
I mean,
yeah.
I know you're from New Orleans, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, well,
Nah.
I'm only from Jersey,
Yeah,
but I
but-
do believe that
Yeah.
if he wants a sandwich,
You make daddy a sandwich.
most of the time.
No. Let me ask you this. Well, okay, let me ask you this. If me and you out and somebody say something slick to you,
You punch him in the
you
face.
want me to smack him in his
Yep,
mouth, right?
That's right.
So if I take you on a date and I say, look, baby, we gonna go Dutch.
No.
Exactly. If we walking up to the car and I don't open your car door, what do you say?
Open the door.
You better believe it.
Yeah, no, I am with you. I think
So you
that-
make daddy a sandwich.
I will after I get out of the
100%.
I mean, but that's a great way to look at
Yeah.
things, right? Like there's like this expectation that women have of all men, like,
Yeah.
and that if men have those same expectations, then it's, you know, it's more difficult, right? Like, oh, I don't do enough. Well, ultimately that relies in too of like what men expect from their women and what women expect of their men. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Like, you know, we have 3 dogs in this house. I got 2 Roombas to help my wife out because she had to vacuum like all the time. And one of her things should be like is like, I clean this house every day, and I'm like, why? Like, I know we have people coming over, but like, have you been in other houses? Like, our house is actually really clean. Like, I think you're over exaggerating, but
She's China.
That's not important.
She's China.
I think that's not it. That's not it. That's not important to me, right? So it just depends on what's important. But I think that there's there's a balance that needs to be found. But I think if it was more so about, hey, like, what are you doing for your self-care versus what are you doing for me, then relationships would be in a much better situation. But yeah, I'm curious, take that back to where you were going with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is rewinding back, like in my earlier thought here, in that, like, so we are built. Send all your hate mail right to me, but we're built as, you know, the stoic of the creatures. Like, you know, example of, you know, somebody comes up, says something slick, you want me to punch them in the face, right? So we are designed to be, you know, protective. So forget roles and all this other bullshit and, you know, jobs and all that other crap. Like, let's just strip us down to human beings here for a second. Like, we're the stoic ones. We're stronger. You know, we're protective. And specifically, like when it comes time to like handle a crisis, like we're the ones who, and it doesn't mean that women can't be these things. Like certainly there's,
it's not even about that. Yeah.
It is, and it isn't. And the reason why I say it is and it isn't is that, again, we go back to, you know, social media out there. And even before it hits social media, I guess I would say this, that any woman out there that, you know, would tell you otherwise, or tell you that, you know, men are not to be stoic and men can be feminine and men could be this. And in fact, I'm going to do these things, or, you know, and honestly, like, you know, we go back to having a little bit of the gym conversation, you know, and I see women who are working especially hard to make themselves look masculine in my mind. Like, we all have our preferences, you know, every man.
We just saw what Evans looked like.
We know it. We all know what Evans looks like. And I'm not, you know, I'm not shaming you for any
Men
of that.
with a vagina. I got it.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Hey, I like them if they can toss me around and I can toss them around, I'm happy with it.
To each their own, my friend.
Of course.
But
Thigh gap.
so you know, those words are like kryptonite to me, right? But me personally, I'm perfectly comfortable in my masculinity. I don't have to, you know, I don't have to over display it in any aspect of it. If I'm with someone, I want them to feel completely comfortable in their femininity. Like, and it's not that, you know, I'm the man, you're the woman. I've never had that conversation. I've never had to say, look, I go and hunt and kill the food, and, you know, you need to fucking make me a sandwich, or you need to clean the floors. I've never had that discussion,
Right.
but this is one of those things that, you know, you put this topic out on social media, you run the danger of the people who are on this other side of the spectrum over there. And it's a minority, you know, let's say it's, you know, 10, 15% of the feminine population out there. This may be people who have been, you know, victims of something. Maybe they've never had any positive masculinity influence. Maybe they're, you know, their home was broken, dad was gone. Maybe they were a victim of some sort of abuse or something like that. Like, there's probably some sort of explanation that would have put them on a course of overcompensation. So they're jamming their bodies with testosterone and they're making themselves, and they're posting on social media, I don't need no man, I'm this, that, and the other thing. But what you always notice about those people is that when they're in and out of relationships, they don't care about Chad. They don't care about 6 feet tall, 6 figures, and six pack. They don't give a fuck about that, because, oh no, I have, you know, my master's in, you know, fucking social work, and I'm, you know, this, and I make $100,000, and I'm this and I'm that. I don't need a man. But they always end up with that man who ends up abusive and or ends up cheating on her, or, you know, whatever. It's like that same story. And then there's always a nice guy somewhere nearby that's like trying to date that woman. And then they're like, you know, but yeah, I understand, you know, you ended up with the losers. And then her position now is, no, all men are losers. Fuck that. I'm this, I'm, you know, whatever. But they can't make that connection between, you know, and they just think that, you know, then all negative is every man out there. Right.
Sure.
Okay. So, in wrangling that, you know, back into, you know, the point here is we have this, you know, biological creation to be stoic and to be prepared for emergencies and crises and everything. And I think that on a day by day basis, I think for us, then when you look at people's expectations, so we're managing through a small percentage of the people that, you know, well, if you're, we have to course correct, you know, we have to, and this is as silly as California paying reparations, you know, for slavery, because there was never slaves in California. Slaves had never anything to do with it. So, okay, well, that's strange that we're, you know, we're looking for an overcorrection for that. Like, okay, so do we need to overcorrect all the male side of the species because of this one group of people over here that have been maybe victimized by another group of people over? That doesn't make any sense, but here we are. And whether that's useful for politics or selling people shit or just getting people arguing with each other, or if it's North Korean hackers putting bots to make us fight each other to cue a civil war, whatever it is, right? Like it's happening because we have this argument in our, you know, in our day. So the answer to the question you asked is, the short and lazy and simple answer is yeah, a lot of men across the board, like, things are different. Our habits are different. So, you know, in school, it's not just recess. It's, you know, like, going to get out of school and, you know, what am I going to do with myself? Am I going to go to the park and play ball? Am I going to get in fist fights with my friends who are going to be my best friends in 5 years from now? Or am I going to go home and plug into a gaming console,
Disappear from everybody,
disassociate, you know, and then, you know, I'm going to go jump online, and then, you know, I'm going to start looking at, and oh, there's these other people online in this Discord group that are like me. Like, they're kind of questioning where they're at. They're vulnerable. They're upset. Like, I got in a fight with my parents. My stepdad hates me. It's this and that. Oh, what's this Islam thing over here? Or, oh, maybe I was born a woman, and, you know, that's why I feel weird about all this stuff, and why girls don't find me attractive or think I'm this and my stupid broccoli haircut or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, you know, people are so malleable at this age. And then now, you know, fast forward into today. And again, we're kind of focusing.
It's a long way to get to just women's expectations of men's changed.
It has. Our expectations of each other have really changed, but across the board, you know, now, to your point, you mentioned it earlier, is that, you know, a lot of that's coming from curation, like, because, you know, even like, I even look at you, I mean, I know you pretty well personally, and I look at, you know, where you go looking for information and everything, like, so all of that's curated. You know, AI is an awesome, amazing tool. I like the fact now they're putting it on a little tag on the bottom that says AI can make things wrong. So verify, you know, do your own research and all that stuff. Like, that's a liability catch for the provider of AI, but all that stuff's curated. Not only is that curated, again, now they're also playing off of keeping you using
the system.
The system's got to be useful to you. Otherwise you abandon it, you go away from it. So, yeah, you have to kind of think about everything you access in that regard, but all of that stuff is influencing expectations.
Everything that you do. I couldn't agree more. I think the difference, and here's what I'd say too, and I can't speak for all men, but I think this is where your self-care is the most important as a man, right? And it's, like I said, I'm not speaking for all men, but for me personally, regardless of my wife or any woman, her opinion of my self-care is less important than my own. For instance, you could say as a spouse or a wife or a girlfriend to me that, you know, I wish you would spend more time at the gym. Chances are I've already had that conversation in my own mind. I already know what that conversation looks like. I already know what I'm disappointing in. And I'm either, one, making the choice to do something about it, or two, I've accepted that it's okay. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, it's not something that's gonna drive me or feed me in any direction in life. But for me, like, I don't see another person's opinion of my own self-care. One, I've already, like I said, I've had that conversation with myself, isn't going to be as harsh as my own opinion on myself. And where my influence or my expectations of myself, not only as a man, but as a husband and a father, those are probably possibly curated by the people that influence me, whether it be on social media, whether it be the books that I read, whether it be the people that have influenced me throughout life in person, whether I worked for them, worked with them, etc. Whether I've seen something that's important to me, whether it be the way somebody raises their daughter or son, or the way they do something with their kids, like those are all things that influence and become who I am. It's no different in that sense than it's been over the last of the life of humanity, right? Like everybody's been influenced the same. I mean, eventually a caveman decided to make fucking fire, and some woman was like, "Hey, you should make fire too." He's like, "Oh, okay," right? And then that influenced him, and that made part of who he was. And then it was, well, you need to be able to hunt and provide food. So, okay, well, what are they doing to provide food? It's since the beginning of time, influencing has always been something that's been taking place. But at the point in time when it comes to men's own ability to be encouraged to do something, like I feel like it has to come from inside you. And regardless of how much your spouse, your wife, your mom, your dad, anybody wants you to change something, like you've got to have that inside that you want to change, because you're the one who's got to be able to create the disciplines or create the habits or
self-accountability.
100%. And once again, you can judge my self-accountability all you want. It's still more valuable than somebody else's accountability of me, because it's myself.
Yeah.
And I think when you have that development, then you can create a happy yourself. And when you find a happy yourself, it's easier for other people to, one, be happy with you.
Yeah.
But two, hopefully it shows those other people that, hey, look, if you worry about making yourself happy, it's a lot easier just to be happy.
Yeah.
Because you can always find, like, it pisses me off that Evan never does any research for any of our shows, despite the fact I've asked him 150 times, hey, please do a little bit. Obviously, that's not going to influence him. The only thing that's going to influence him, if he decides like, hey, I want this to be successful, I want our podcast to do well, I'm going to start doing more research. I'll create some, content and stuff to have it ready, because I want to do that.
Yeah.
Me, I can't make him do that.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So I think that's just the one thing when it comes to men's self-care, is like your opinion of yourself is definitely going to outweigh everybody else's. So it's just hopefully have a high opinion of what you want yourself to be.
Evan, when was the last time something happened to you at work that made you mad?
It's really hard to get me mad.
Yeah, I'm aware.
It's really hard to get me mad. Probably when I was forced promoted. That was because it was not my decision. They just threw it on me, and I felt like I was
out of your comfort zone.
Not out of my comfort zone. I felt like I didn't make that decision. They just decided to make it for me.
Got a problem with authority.
Yeah, that too. I do have a problem.
Most people get, excuse me,
get happy about it.
Most people get promoted as a reward.
Well, that's what they was saying. It's a reward. It's more money, more responsibility. But I'm like, is the responsibility is the pay?
Evan's like, can I take naps in the parking lot?
Yeah,
that's
I'm like
the number one benefit is this.
Yeah, my thing is, I tell people money has to cover the compensation of my time.
Of course,
and if I don't believe, you got to sell it to me. You got to tell me.
So you were forced to take that, and that's what I mean. I can't. I'm having difficulty picturing you as an angry person, but
and it's really hard. Again, I was angry for about 2 months, but then after 2 months, because they knew I was not trying to sell in new stuff. I was not doing this because I was the East Cleveland sales rep for like 2 or 3 months. A new area opened up, and they're like, if you want this new area,
I got you.
You can have it. I'm like, I want it. I told you I did not want East Cleveland. They're like,
so here's something that I think will benefit everybody. There's this guy named Dr. Kevin Gilmartin, and I'm usually not a book salesperson, but I do like to read. It's part of, you could say part of my self-care regimen. It starts every morning. I read every day. Like I have a stack of books, and it's not just to look smart. I think it was probably 2.5 years ago now that I just kind of instinctively like, I'm going to just pick up reading again. And some people do audiobooks, which is fine. I get way too many phone calls throughout the day to be able to do that. And for me, I just enjoy, like, you know, book in hand. Like, I don't do a Kindle or anything. I actually buy the book.
Buy the book.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoy
I have
just
about
the
10 physical books upstairs that I bought and then ended up freaking listening to the book instead of reading.
Yeah.
But it's just one of the.
Yeah, especially for
Convenience.
anybody when you're traveling or you're, you know, in the car going around and everything. But anyway, so this guy, Dr. Kevin Gilmartin, he was a Marine. After his Marine Corps bout, he went on to the Tucson Police Department, where he was a police officer for over 20 years. A lot of different functions in there over his 20 years. He supervised the behavioral sciences unit, hostage negotiation team, did all of that until he retired. And then he retired and then decided to go back to school. And he was, I think he had his master's, and if he didn't already have his doctorate in psychology, he got it shortly after he retired, around there. But he wrote one of the most influential books that I've ever read. And the book is called Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement. He lectures everywhere to date. He instructs at academies all over the country, including the FBI and Homeland academies. But I think that even though that his book is written for, literally the book is called Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement, but this is something that's valuable far beyond first responders. He talks about this thing, and I think you guys will appreciate this, and I think everybody out there will appreciate this as well. But he talks about this thing called the hypervigilance roller coaster, and it's really easy to imagine this for people that have been in the military or people in law enforcement. Right? You clock in for your shift. You're now a moving target out there working with the public. You're seeing people on, you know, the worst days of their lives, kind of thing. Like, no one's excited even to get pulled over, given a ticket for speeding.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's excited when the police knock at the door and say, we need to talk to you about something. So for people in this profession, you have 12 hours of hypervigilance, vigilance, wrong word, hypervigilance. Everything is a potential threat to you. Your adrenaline is up, your heart rate's going, and all that stuff. And then at the end of your shift, what happens? You go home, you're off duty.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you just worked 12 hours. Maybe you were running, maybe you were fighting, maybe you're just driving, maybe you're sitting at a desk, whatever it is. But you come home and now your body's going to go through this, you know, sort of crash. You know, you're now off of work. And if you guys stop and think about, you know, your jobs, if you work for 12 hours and you had a particularly grueling day, you know, your boss is coming to you and telling you, look, you're doing so well, we're giving you more, and you're not going to be allowed to take naps. You're going to have more phone calls and everything, and you come home.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do not want to, you know, then run right back out and go do shit, you know, like, oh, well, let's go take on another marathon. Let's go out. Let's do this. And so especially in this profession, you have a grueling shift. You get off of work. Like, if it was really bad, you know, maybe I need to have a drink. Maybe I need to go relax. Maybe I, you know, need to just kind of shut down. In a chapter in the book, he talks about this thing. Like, he's got little nicknames for different phases that people are in when they're on this roller coaster. But he has what he calls the magic chair. And that's where people zone out and go pick up a video game or go turn on the TV or scroll or, you know, go binge watch things. And it feels necessary because you just finished 12 hours of getting your ass kicked. And it's like, I need to come down from this. This was crazy. So I'm going to go, you know, I need to just zone out for a little bit, throw on a video game, whatever, I'm going to sleep or whatever. Well, the byproduct of that is you're, you know, then at a time, you know, when your social network around you, your friends and your family, and specifically your family, you're now not going to be available to, you know, you're not going to be responsive to the needs of your family in that particular case because you're zoning out. You need to come down, right? And so, you know, this is a cycle, particularly for people who have, you know, high functioning, high success, or in this case, super high stress jobs. It's constant because you're going to do this no less than 3 or 4 or 5, days. Oh, you're picking up overtime because it's cool. Like, all right, now I'm doing it 6 days a week and I'm making a lot of money. But, you just sort of lose sight of the fact that this has now become part of your life. And so there's long-term impacts that people don't, realize, but it starts very slow with the habit changes of, I used to fill in the blank. I used to go out dancing. I used to go to the ball game. I used to go to concerts. Oh, I used to, play in a softball league. I used to do this. I used to, do all that. And then you lose interest in whatever hobbies, you had. I used to travel. I used to go do, photography. I used to do whatever it is, but you all of the things that made you as a person before that tend to change. Another good example of this is, if you go to the gym and you're pretty motivated and you want to get after it and you're like, oh yeah, I'm feeling good. And you have a great workout and you go really hard about it. What happens the next day? Like, you need a recovery day, right? Like, so it's kind of a similar dichotomy there of like, but you feel that one physically directly because you were, exercising those muscles as opposed to say behaviors and decisions you were making the day before. But anyway, so the long-term impact of this, there's not a super positive one of super high exposure to stress, and then if you think about what are you doing when you're zoning out, you're disassociating. You're cutting yourself off from your family and from the world. And so you get into this habit of doing this. And so if you guys ever wonder why so many like cops and firefighters are like married and divorced repeatedly, it's because of this roller coaster, because they disassociate. And it's even worse when you have two of them, a lot of cops and nurses. It's worse because you have two people that are on this roller coaster, but they're on different schedules. They're on different amusement parks, if you will. So
well, I just had this conversation with my wife today, and I was like, no secret, like right now, like her baby's about to come. Like there's just like this struggle in our relationship where everything's a challenge, and there's things that I'm falling short on, what I consider falling short on as a man. But there's also like her expectations and opinion. It's amazing how like it's easy to remember like out of a whole bag of jelly beans, you only got 3 black licorice ones. It's like you forgot about all the strawberry and vanilla.
That's communism right there.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like one of those things where, and I had this conversation with her, but I told her today, I was like, I don't know what it is. Like, there's a part of me that's like just disengaging from things. And I don't know if it's like part of my PTSD or if it's just how I respond to different, levels of stress when things are going on. But it's like when I disengage, like, yeah, it's easier for me to go masturbate than try to come home and go through the whole motion of, romanticizing you and having sex with you. Like, I know it sounds terrible, but it's a
quick way.
It's like a broken thing in your head, right? Or it's easy for me to, go to the gym for 3 hours and spend an hour of it disengaged, like watching a video or something of that nature. Like, cause you just, it's like you said, you like reach these peak levels of stress, and then, you disassociate yourself with like reality for a minute.
Yeah.
And you think that it's like a stress reliever, but it's not. It's almost like an intensifier because you do separate yourself from like the mental well-being of positive life.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely removes you. So it feels, you've definitely changed. Like the stress has already impacted your body because it's already happened.
Of course.
And so what you've done, or when you cut, and we all have this,
of
like
course.
we all do this, like the big punchline, on this, it's something that I've said before several times. I mean, you guys as my friends have heard me say this probably 100 times where, I talk about like, well, when you have a bad day and, you're just like, or something happens, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to take a walk and, cool off, and and you go and you walk and you feel better. Just don't wait for something to go wrong. Take a walk. Like, that's how, you can repair, the impacts of stress on your body. And I say take a walk. It could be, your time at the gym. It could be
infinite things,
whatever it is. But physical activity, you need to have no less, as a human being, you need to have no less than 20 minutes a day of elevated heart rate at a safe, comfortable, breaking a sweat like we as human beings and we as men, you included, men out there, 20 minutes, no less. And if you're doing 2 hours a day, then keep doing it, but literally no less than 20 minutes. But Evan, to pick on you just a little bit, like in everything we talked about here, like that's a good example. Like, it's a good example of things for you in that 20 minutes a day. Like I have an easy one, 2 or 3 nights a week. I go out dancing. I get sweaty as fuck when I'm out there. Like that's, that does more for just my overall well-being and happiness as a human being. Like forget about the fact that, there's beautiful people around me doing it at the same time, thigh gaps, but whatever. Forget about all of that. But, those are obviously upsides as well. But like the days that I don't do that, absolutely concerned with, I need to get the heart rate up. I need to do all those things.
Yeah,
but
go out, throw the ball at the dogs or whatever.
Whatever
There's
it
all
is.
kinds of ways to do it, right?
Yeah. Like every single day to keep that going. But back to what you were saying there though, is that you'll definitely come down from your stress by going and isolating or, going to, rub one out in the Dollar General parking lot.
What the fuck?
Or wherever.
Hope there's no
you're going-
cameras watching.
Wherever you're going to do all this.
Holy shit.
Realize you've set yourself up for unlimited commentary from Evan and I from this day forward, but nonetheless.
Well, maybe from you, David, not from me. I am not.
No, you'll be there helping him. What are you talking about?
Whoa.
All right,
We'll
so
be,
let's wrap this up. We got 2 segments we got to get to. Evan, don't think you're off the hook tonight, but before we do that, top 5 apps for men. So if you let's go around the room. Is there a particular app that you think is extremely beneficial to men, the way that they either function throughout the day, for their mental well-being, for anything in the action? I'll go first, like 2 that, or 1 right off the rip that I would say would be the Habit app itself. I don't know if you guys have ever used it, but it's a tremendous app to track the things that you're trying to quit and also the things that you're trying to succeed in. You get that dopamine hit, of course, when you go ahead and tap that you completed that habit for the day. So that's one that I have. Is there one in particular that you guys utilize on a daily basis, or that's?
I thought you said you had 2.
Well, I do. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to add to the top 5. I guess we're gonna.
I do My Fitness. Yeah.
My Fitness. Okay. So
Yeah,
the one I was going to say was the Strong app, but it's very similar to My
Mm.
Fitness. I've used that one too.
Yeah.
So you track your workouts and things through
I
that,
track my
David?
workouts, how much I bench, how many sets I do. Also, I check. Sometimes I do my calorie intake. I look up how much a peanut butter jelly sandwich or a bowl of noodles is for carbohydrates for my insulin intake too.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot.
Yeah.
So
What about you, Evan? Or I mean, David. Sorry.
How many
Sorry.
Evans do we have in
We have
there?
all kinds of Evans.
Mm.
You're an Evan.
Man. Let's see here. What would be a good one? Not Hinge.
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
No,
all right,
no dating apps at all. Actually, they're all junk.
All right, Ed.
Which one?
Tall Ed.
Oh yeah. He's like the
he's
pro.
Oh, Jesus.
He's like
Hinge
he's
pro.
addicted
God
to the.
help Ed.
Wait, wasn't it Evan though that used to swipe right on every single person?
both.
Do you
Oh,
of us.
remember he would
I'll
be,
do
he would-
that all the time.
You were so addicted to that at one point. I forgot about
I say
that.
was.
He might still be
He
doing
must
it.
be.
I do it when I'm sleeping, and like before I go to bed.
Probably
I just-
in your sleep. Like,
just
dude, I just remember him being here at the podcast table swiping while we were
Yeah.
having a fucking podcast. When you,
I mean, like
it's a waste of they're wasted time.
so it's interesting though. We had this whole conversation about self-care and how regular conversation that we have here on this podcast isn't enough for Evan. Have you ever noticed that?
yeah.
Like he spends most of his time in La La Land on his laptop.
I
and
have to
very disengaged to the conversation unless the 12 to 15 times a show where we go, "What about you, Evan?" And he's like,
Well,
So I'm interested, Evan. I'm a little concerned about your distractibility ratio.
It's my ADHD. What's one part? ADHD and my dyslexia combined, and they're fighting each other.
I mean, if anything, just butt into the conversation.
Oh no, David would get pissed
I would
off.
say that I honestly I try and not put any energy at all into any of the apps on the phone. But for me, the one app that I know gets used, obviously Facebook and YouTube are capitalizing my screen time. So I'm not going to be that pretentious, but like I think right behind that, the Notes app for me
Yeah.
As kind of stupid and basic as that sounds, like I could be anywhere and I'll have an idea for something for us to talk about. I mean, shit, like, self-care was the, thing I put in notes that led us to here we are having an episode about it. Like, there's anything, like everything that kind of pops up. You remember back in the day, they used to have those suction cup notepad things that stuck on the windshield, and you'd be driving and you have an idea and you jot that down. Like, this is my modern day version. I had that thing, by the way, but on top of that, my first or second car I had one of those, but yeah, this is my version of that, and that I have to. And then of course you can use Siri to, take, notes that way too. So if you're driving, you can do that. And I know this because I carry an iPhone now like a man.
There you go.
But
so I got another one. I got the Bloom app, which there's other apps that are out there like it, but essentially it allows me to dictate what I'm able to do at certain points a day on my phone. Now, when I first got it, I totally fucked it up, and I would literally, like, once you engage it, like, you can't disengage it, which is great, but it's terrible if you like accidentally click the wrong app or don't allow yourself access to like
you're fucked for 8 hours.
Yeah, like I led to lunch one day and like my Teams app wasn't engaged, so like I couldn't get on a Teams call for work, and I was like, shit. So I had to like hurry and drive back because you only get like a couple of 5-minute breaks where you're allowed to like cheat code in and use it to go on a website. Whatever the case might be, but yeah, it was a big part of me reducing some of my worser habits down to a very, very bare minimum. And I'm going to count on that to really maximize this next plan as I put my plan together for, the workout routine that I want to recreate, my diet and stuff like that, as well as a lot of other habits that I'm trying to kind of focus in and really maintain my time. So I guess for me, that Bloom app is obviously important. And it's got this little card too. So like, the metal card, you want to go hide it in your bedroom or something. Like, you want to like get on Prime and watch a movie on your phone, like, and it's during that allotted time you put for work or for this or for that. You can't without that card. So you got to go up before you pick up your phone. So it's great too. It tracks how many times you pick up your phone and stuff. So it tells you like, hey, you picked up your phone 25 less times today than yesterday. Good job.
Yeah.
And then another one that I've got, I mean, it's funny. You have the Notes app, right? For me, I have the alarm app on my top 5. Just because I'll set reminders for myself throughout the day for generic stuff like, hey, make sure you snack at this time, or hey, make sure you take your lunch at this time. Right now it's a disaster because it's got all these timers set off on it, and I have been way off my habit tracking. But yeah, those are a couple that I use. Evan, you got any of those to add?
No, I mostly use my fitness app, Google Charts. It's another app I use to scan food and stuff. It tells you it's good or not. I forget what it's called.
I use the Yuka app for sure. Yuka is a key app that I use. I guess I should put that on my top 5.
Yeah, I use that, and then alarm clocks. I put alarm clocks for while I'm at work because my boss likes to. I always see if I don't call in like 2 to 3 hours, he wants to. he gets a little annoyed, so I always put an alarm 2 to 3 hours on my phone. So,
well, I have to amend my answer a little bit because I didn't really even think of it.
ChatGPT.
No. That's a good one. But and this kind of rounds out a point in the book that I was talking about there, just with habits around time management. I do very much live off of my calendar, so alarms / calendar. That in terms of access and importance, that's the number one app on my device. Everything I do is on that calendar. And that is one thing that he talked about in the book here, is specifically scheduling even your social thing. So like an app like it's called Bloom. Is that the one? Mm-hmm. Which obviously, that sort of takes, removes your device from your scheduled time 100%. For family and all those things, like super, super important. But as a single man in particular, the one app that I've found to be the most valuable, FaceTime.
Yeah?
Yeah. FaceTime.
I don't use that, so I can't use it.
Yeah. Oh, and it shows, buddy. It shows. Not in a good way. not in a good way. Yeah. I've realized after all these years of, you know, like you meet a girl and like, you know, think things are going really good. And then you're like, she's like, oh, green text. And then I'm like, but I mean, you know, now fortunately I've, you know, managed to compensate for that in a lot of ways, but, yeah, green text. And then, but now that it's like, oh,
FaceTime.
blue text.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I'm getting in the shower, but we can keep chatting.
Nice.
I'm telling you, Evan, you need an iPhone.
I'm good on that one.
I know.
It's
the
funny.
last thing you would want would be to have an attractive woman have a video conference with you while she's getting in the shower. I know.
You mentioned calendar. I actually just got the Skylight calendar. Game fucking changer, man. It just blew up. My Amazon is like, it's out the window.
You were using Amazon as a calendar?
I was
before?
trying. Well, I was using. I had like multiple camels. I had my Google, everything else, and I had the Echo Show 15 or whatever on my under my cabinets.
Oh yeah.
Calendar was junk on it though, like throughout the day, etc. Now I have this freaking Skylight camera or calendar. Skylight calendar is legit. It's got my to-do list. I could create a shopping list for 6 different places that I need to go. To-do list for multiple things, and then as far as calendars, it integrates all of my calendars, and it does them for different people within the household. So like my daughter's calendar events are on there, my wife's, etc. And then if there's an event, like let's say my wife schedules something and she needs me to do it, like it'll push it to my calendar, my Apple calendar, my work calendar, everything. That way I don't accidentally forget about something usually. So yeah, that's like my new thing. You have to check that out when we go upstairs. But so my top 5 overall would be the Strong calendar, which I track my workouts. My Yuka calendar, which is where I check if the food that I'm buying is not filled with freaking all the junk and additives in it. My wife's got me addicted to that thing. The Chronometer is the one I downloaded last month. It's like tracks your food intake and stuff like that for calories, fat, etc. And it's awesome because you just got to scan the barcode. And like you could scan the barcode on your chicken from Costco versus the chicken from Tyson, and it'll register the difference and pull them up there. So that's pretty sweet. And then my Habits app, where obviously I need to track to make sure I'm doing all this shit. And then my Bloom app, because that's going to be big as far as, because it's even like don't get me wrong, like during the day, I can go ahead, if let's say I want to create a social media video or something, I can go on my computer still and use CapCut and post it. But chances are that's all I'm doing. If I do it on my phone on CapCut and I post it to TikTok and it goes to TikTok or Instagram or whatever, now is where that turns into. So as long as I can keep myself off of that, that's a huge win for me.
It turns into. Oh, so you said there were two things. So we had that. What's the other thing?
The other thing is Evan versus AI.
Oh my God.
So I wanted to try and create one around, tonight's event, obviously. So what I was hoping, Evan, is I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Okay. Now you're going to be in a little bit of disadvantage because obviously, Grok is going to be able to come up with them way faster than you. But the object isn't to beat Grok in time. It's more to, I just needed a limit to how many times you could think of this. So what I need you to do within 60 seconds, I need you to think of the most important things a man can do for self-care. If they want to be, in your opinion, to be successful, to find a spouse, to do well in their job, the most positive self-care things that they could do on a daily, monthly, weekly basis. Could be whatever, but like, let's say, getting a haircut every 2 weeks or, whatever.
Okay.
So you get 60 seconds to name as many as you can. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, go.
Going to the gym, researching on your job and about your job. What else? Watching the news, being social, and what else? Haircut, shave, eating healthy. God, what else? Pleasuring yourself at least once a day.
Once a day. All right. Goddamn.
Good. Yeah. Jesus. What else? Or you also call that wrestling the dragon. What else? I'm trying to figure out what else are things.
You're so coming to China with me.
To wrestle a dragon. You guys gonna wrestle the dragon at the same time?
We'll give you 10 seconds back. Go.
What else? God, I don't know what else. Reading a book. Yeah, people like reading books. I can't do it. Dyslexic. So, what else? Reading a magazine. Talking to girls. I don't know what else. Drinking some coffee. Relaxing. Taking a walk.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay.
Whew.
Jerking off daily.
You gotta jerk off daily. The man has to expire something.
I'm a twice a day guy, but I usually have help.
The second time or the first time?
Both. Sometimes both.
All right, Evan. We're gonna take you to AI and see if Grok's ready to get to work. Hey Grok, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. What's up?
All right, I need you. Let's see, Evan, you came up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I need you to list 12 must-do things for men to have ultimate self-care.
Here are 12 must-do things for men's ultimate self-care. 1. Hit the gym or lift weights regularly. 2. Get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night.
That's what I forgot.
3. Eat clean, whole foods and stay hydrated. 4. Take time to meditate or clear your mind daily.
That count wrestling dragon?
God damn it, Evan, you interrupted her. Grok, go ahead and start again at number 5 and read the rest of them off.
5. Schedule regular checkups with your doctor. 6. Build strong relationships and stay socially connected. 7. Learn to say no and set healthy boundaries. 8. Spend time outdoors, getting sunlight and fresh air. 9. Master a few grooming habits, like skincare and haircuts. 10. Read or learn something new to keep your mind sharp. 11. Practice gratitude or journaling for mental clarity. 12. Make time for hobbies that bring you real joy. There you go, the rest of the list. Want me to dive deeper into any of those?
No, but if you could, Grok, could you tell me that if a man picked to masturbate once a day, which of those 12 things that would fit under?
Number 4. Taking time to meditate or clear your mind daily.
Okay.
That's the closest fit. So, what do you want to do next?
I want to masturbate, of course.
Well, I guess, Grok, my next question would be, is wrestling the dragon a solid nickname for masturbating as a man?
No, wrestling the dragon's not bad, but it's kind of cliche. If you're looking for a solid nickname, go with something fun like slaying the one-eyed serpent, or just keep it simple, choking the chicken. What's your vibe?
Oh, and that is tonight's episode of Evan vs. AI. All right, Evan, and that one, I got to give it to Grok. She seemed to be a little bit more thought out and picking some things, but you know, at least I was impressed. A lot of yours were on there. You know, Jim.
Grok here. Thanks for
Grok, stop talking.
Stop talking. Make me a sandwich.
Eating healthy, you know. I was surprised not to see pleasuring self once a day on there, but obviously she found something that closely related. So, you know, you're getting better at this, Evan. I'm proud of you.
Well, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, he's made it this far, so.
All right, guys. Well, we went a lot longer than I expected. So this is probably going to have to be a whole shitload of editing in order to get people to actually watch any of this, because I don't think anybody is still here 3 hours and 15 minutes later.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Later.